Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the competitive Overwatch League's Minutemen number 9. My name is Joneskis, and I'm with Matrim here.
Hey, Overwatchers, how's it going today? Looks like we're going to get started up. We're getting everybody set into brackets. For those of you guys that are not familiar with what it is it's totally open to anybody that wants to get involved. So you just go on to the Cal League Discord, hop on, look for the links, go in, fill out your information, and we just do a live draft of everybody that is signed up. So none of these teams know who they're playing with in advance. It's all about just trying to get people that are interested in getting together and wanting to play.
Yep, it's a great way for players to connect with other competitive players if they're possibly looking for teams, and it's also a good way to scout potential talent within these brackets and in this tournament itself.
And due to the peculiar nature of the fact that this is very just draft-based tournament, the rule set's a little bit different than what a lot of people are used to. So it's formally dubbed the competitive tournament rules, which means the fact that to start off with, we're going to be doing best of ones. Once we get to the semis and the finals, we're going to be doing best of threes. But the way it's going to happen is whenever we have ties occur, we're not going to go into the tiebreaker and coin flip. We're going to allow the coin flip to happen. Whichever team wins the coin flip then gets to choose a single map to play King of the Hill on. So it's just a best of one for any time breakers on King of the Hill.
Yep, try to make it a little more fair, a little more interesting. Really give these players a chance to show their stuff instead of deciding matches based on a 50-50 chance.
Mm-hmm. And naturally, one of the great parts about this is the fact that we're going to be able to see all of these new skins that came out this week. I've got personal lean towards the new Genji, even though I'm not a Genji player, but it's pretty solid. But I mean, let's be honest, America McCree, man. Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's amazing. A little desecration of the American flag never hurt anyone, you know.
We're not going into that. No, shh. Look, Twitch. Just know we're not getting into all the politics. Don't you even start that. I see it off to the side.
My favorite has to be the new Tracer skin. Actually, if I love the character model in particular, I don't know if you've noticed how it has the British flag on the back for one of the particular skins. I can't remember which one it's called.
It's not track and field. It's the other one. I know the one you're talking about, though. But yeah, I've got that one. And it's like it billows behind her when she's going.
It's great. Yeah.
That's what Overwatch needs is more capes. You hearing that? Capes. Anybody at Blizzard right now, more capes is what we
need. Mm-hmm. I hear that.
As of right now, we've had all of the brackets that are everybody's starting to get drafted in. So looks like we have a group of 6 teams. I'm not 100% certain.
No, we do not have. We have a little more than 6 teams.
We have
9 teams. And it looks like our first match here, we're going to be getting people into lobby. We're going to be watching Team 4 versus Team 5 here.
All right. As of this time, we don't know who all the players are, but naturally, keep an eye out. We'll be coming back to us as the night progresses. Mainly, we'll be your in-between. For our actual production crew tonight, we have Aaron, LOL. It's going to be casting, along with That's Gotta Be Kane, which, if you guys tuned in last week, they were our casters. So pretty much we have a complete mimicry of everything we had last time around. So make sure to give them shouts out and loves on Twitter.
Yep. And I definitely want to shout out our producer here, Chronic. Great guy. The only reason this entire tournament, this entire broadcast can exist.
Oh yeah, man. He's the best right now. There's no doubt about it. Anytime you see, make sure if you see him on the Discord, give him a shout out. Production guys never get enough love. Now, that being said, if you're not a part of our community, definitely become part of the community. You can join by going to Cal League on Discord. That's where almost all of our events occur at. So you get all kinds of news, information. If you want to just meet people to hang out with, play, and then maybe you can form up some teams, compete in the Cal Open, which happens tomorrow. Cal Open is our amateur Overwatch tournament that's all based in teams.
Yep. The Discord is a great way to be able to find teams for that Cal Open. The Cal Open does have a money prize as well. We'll go a little more into that later. But right now, I just want to get what your thoughts, Matrim, are. What you're going to be seeing now that the meta has died down a little bit. Do you think you're going to be seeing as many divas with that buff? Or what do you think about the Zenyatta changes and how we're going to be seeing him in these games?
See, right as soon as I thought that we started having the meta stabilize, then like all the games happened last week on the professional level. So we had Pharah re-enter the scene with a Mercy right behind it doing damage boost. It was actually successful. Then we had the triple tank, triple support, or no, yeah, double tank, triple support with one DPS that started making appearances by Energy yesterday, which was very interesting. Naturally, it's always great to see Ana entering the scene. It seemed like as people are getting a feel for her, we're going to start seeing a big swing in how different fights are going to be occurring, specifically on payloads. Like I'm a fan personally, and I'm hoping most people are starting to agree with this, stepping away from Ana ulting Genjis and DPS users and ulting tanks. Like, there's nothing scary in that right heart charging you at increased speed with so much more damage and taking so much less damage.
Indeed. I do believe that even Pharah last week during the Minutemen was played a good bit too. Pretty good success. I still don't think we're going to see too much Mercy here, as it really only is effective with a Pharah. But I can bet you're going to see plenty of Annas. You're definitely going to see a Zenyatta or two. Just a few.
It's almost
Just a few.
become like an entirely different style of Pharah than we saw whenever we had the big Pharah meta that was happening a couple. It's more like a sneaky jump out and like shoot once and then disappear style of Pharah. So it's almost like a sniper Pharah, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, you can't take complete control of the sky like you could before with McCree just raining bullets right at you. It's just impossible at this point. But it has been done, and it can be really effective if played correctly. I think now is when you're going to see the really good Pharahs shine, and the
Definitely.
mediocre Pharahs really just fall flat and just not be able to play her.
On the support side, I'm imagining that we're probably going to be seeing a whole bunch of Zenyatta still. Most likely Lucio, because Lucio is always present. You can never get rid of Lucio. And maybe Ana. I would like to see some people try and play around with Mercy, just because I think that with proper protection, specifically with the amount of tanks people are running, because it's almost you're either always going to have a Reinhardt with a Diva or a Zarya, and it's the way it's occurring now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mercy and Ana are a little bit more survivable than people think that she is.
I actually think that Mercy can be played as long as you're playing a very much slower style of play. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mercy paired with an Ana. Maybe
Yeah.
not in these games, but in the future. Just
Well,
because that makes that slower style of play and you're able to actually get up those ults.
yeah, I totally agree. I think it comes back to that same playstyle difference. Like beforehand, Mercy was a lot safer and she could hang out and just be a lot more in the open. I think it's going to be parallel to the Pharah play, to where she has to kind of hang out in the background and then just kind of like try to heal for a second over the walls and then step back, avoid damage, step back forward, get a little bit of healing, and then jump out for that big res. And I think that's still pretty viable, but I think a lot of the Mercy players are a little bit how safe she felt beforehand.
One thing I will say about the tanks, I think you're going to be seeing a lot more Zarya than we were last week. Diva was definitely the flavor of the week, and I think now that it's starting to be seen how she plays, you're going to see a little more Zarya, as that is a pretty decent soft counter to her, being able to shoot past that defense matrix.
Most definitely. I mean, Zarya has come back in a big way. She's never really ever fallen out of meta, in my opinion, but she's just a lot more viable in the way things are run. She runs counter to, well, I wouldn't say necessarily counter. She just doesn't have any strong weaknesses. And then toss in the fact she's got a new skin. You got to play her. You got new skins.
She has a new skin. It's great. The weightlifting skins that even has the belt and everything.
If you didn't notice, the gun actually has weights that they've added to the bottom of it now. So if you were like watching, yeah, if you look at it, like whenever she does her like weightlifting, when she does the raising it up, you can see them because they clink back and forth. Pretty solid.
That is fantastic.
Here's the question: are you guys wanting or do you like the white Zarya skin or the full-on Russia red, like looking like what is it?
Oof.
Drogo from Rocky. Sporting a full red and all scary.
I don't know. I'd have to go personally for the white skin. I think it's a little sleeker. But now that I see the dumbbells that you're talking about, it's pretty fantastic. I think it this whole update added a lot, at least cosmetically. They added I want to say 4 different heroes for legendary skins. And they added multiple victory poses. I think one I really have to point out is the Junkrat highlight intro, the shot put. Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, that one's good. And then just I don't know why, but I really like the Symmetra, like the one with the ribbon where she does like the whole ribbon up and she does a little spin around. I always thought that one.
Yep. That
Um,
one's great.
And naturally, we have to talk about Lucio Ball before anybody in the chat starts talking about it. We're super sad over here at Cal League. We really wanted to run a Lucio Ball tournament, but there's no way to do custom matches in Lucio Ball. So again, Blizzard, if you're listening, we want to be able to do custom matches so that way we can start running Lucio Ball tournaments, because man, that would be so amazing.
That would be great. That'd be just a great little break from the game, the stressful competitive grind, just to take a few hours out of your week and just do a nice little Lucio Ball tournament.
Lucio Ball just seems to be like the epitome of dirty tactics, though. Have you realized this? It's all about like trying to figure out that sneaky way just to mess somebody over, and I love it. Like you go into it starting off like, oh, this is so casual and fun, and then after about the 10th match, you're just like, I'm going to go into their goal, and I'm going to activate my ultimate, and I'm going to boop the guy out of the way, and I'm going to turn to the side and punch it in. Boom. They're not even going to get a chance to react. And then, like, their goalie just... You can see their goalie's face after it happens, just like...
But, you know, here at Cal League, everybody here, all the staff, we all just get too competitive, though. It's just in our blood. After a few games for me, it's not fun anymore. I don't do it because I like it. I do it because I have to win.
Do it because you have to make them cry. Make the opponents know misery and sadness. But right now,
get that.
I believe we're still waiting on some of the teams to form up at the direct time. Mm-hmm. So waiting for messages from production. So once they get that, we will let you guys know. So additionally, on top of that, I'm trying to think of, naturally we still have McCree super hard in the meta right now.
Completely.
Don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't think you're ever gonna not see him in a game with how he is. I think him and Zenyatta at this point are mainstays. At almost mainstays at this point. I doubt you're gonna see any deviation from that. I think that Genji with the fair nerfs, I still think you're not gonna see too many fairs, and I think Genji's done nothing but rise in popularity. Now that people have more time with him, people are really starting to get the ins and outs of him. You have a lot more Genji players, and I think that's definitely shown.
No, I wholly agree. But there is one thing that I have noticed that, which I'm kind of curious about, is the defense heroes in general just tend to not be played on the competitive. They get played a little bit in the amateur scene. But I've noticed that here on Minutemen we tend to have like a May show up every once in a while. We'll have Bastion make an appearance here or there, which is kind of interesting. And I really like that, specifically with Minutemen, because we get to see some of the changes that happen inside the meta and the interactions with these heroes that we don't normally get to. Mm-hmm. I would be very curious to see how perhaps tank mode Bastion would work with a Ana ultimate. That seems like that would be ridiculously annoying to have to deal with.
I think and doing a nano boost on a Bastion, no matter what form he is, would be awful. But I don't see too much defensive play coming out. I just think, though it is called defense, I believe that a more correct term, which is in one of their other games, would be specialist. Because if you notice, they all have very unique abilities and play completely different versus, say, offense, which a lot of them play similar. I believe, if anything, you're going to see two heroes, maybe. You're going to see some Junkrat, possibly, particularly on Dorado if it's played. And I have seen, as far as in the amateur scene, Mei getting played just a little bit on certain points. Someone that is good at timing walls, especially in this pug environment, it makes it really easy to cut off enemy players. as there's no coordination. You could easily cut off a Reinhardt or an off tank and just or both and just kill him extremely easily.
I totally agree. I mean, every once in a while we do see the Widow come through. On Hollywood, it seems to happen quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But
You do occasionally.
I find it very peculiar that May still gets so much play, even though Zarya like almost 100% hard counters everything about May. And so I think it's going to. I'm hoping to see her again because I was doing a little bit of reading and somebody did some theory crafting on actually a damage boosted by Mercy and Ana ulted May and the amount of damage that she can put out. Specifically with her ultimate, because like her ultimate just does a little bit of tick damage, but once you get all of those boosts on her, she essentially has like this huge graviton surge style event that occurs
that does
a
insane
whole
amounts
bunch
of damage at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
that is totally interesting. I mean, one thing people don't really look at is her right clicks, which have no drop off. They do, I believe, extremely similar damage to a McCree. And so if you say a Zenyatta discords a target, she can one shot headshot a any target, any 200 health hero, just like that.
She has a lot of variability, so I think it's going to be about if teams want to play her, because I know we have a player that plays in the right, Pitrix, if I remember correctly. He plays May quite a bit, specifically on defense, and I've noticed King's Row. I'm not sure if he's playing it today. We don't have the full lists of teams, but if he's playing and we end up following his team, I wouldn't be surprised if we see May a couple of times.
Yep, specifically, just those choke points are killer. The thing, a lot of these really popular maps have those choke points, though. I mean, Hollywood does, Kings Row does, Dorado on the very first point. Like Kings Row on the first point is just two extremely small choke points at the very beginning. It's something that could really be utilized that just isn't at the moment. Whether it's just because it takes too long to freeze people, or she's too squishy, I'm not sure, or if it just because she's a bit different playstyle than what people are used to.
Now, one thing that I've been hearing through the grapevine is that Hanzo actually might be making a small come up, and we might see him start appearing in a couple of tournaments. Mainly that due to the fact that there's far less Mercy that's being played right now, the ability to have such a huge AoE damage, especially as an attacker, has benefit. Sure, you still have the RNG with the damage and all that other stuff, not reliable damage, but he still builds ult pretty quickly. So with these hard choke points that we're accounting specifically for Kings Row and Dorado, he's a very good alternative to push a team back away from a choke point to let the team get in and maybe get the cart moving those extra couple of feet that you need it to. He may not bring the huge amount of damage that McCree does right now, but he brings a reliable source of a team ability to push, specifically followed up with like a Lucio speed. Get in, go real fast.
I can do nothing but agree with that. I mean, I don't think there's much more to say about that other than that, but
well, and Zarya's still popular, so anytime Zarya's popular, there's always the Wombo. But,
always the Wombo. It doesn't matter. That's, I think, consistently going to be a thing during this whole tournament. Is you're going to see gravitons into Deadeyes, gravitons into even pulse bombs, or gravitons into earth shatters. That's what a lot of this tournament is going to be, because a lot of these players that are plugging together, they don't know how each other plays, so the spacing isn't going to be that of a coordinated team.
And see, this kind of is a little bit tangent from what we're talking about, but what I always find very interesting in this specific tournament is the ability to shot call. We never really talk about that. Like, we were always talking about team like players, because that's all we visibly see are the teams that just like this one guy that pull off these like mega kills and can jump around and murder the whole team. But on the flip side of that, like really good shot callers, I think could have a huge impact inside the Minutemen tournament, because just somebody that's capable of coming in and taking that leadership role and has a good understanding of the game can be entirely influential and can take a team, unite them, go, because that's a big part of Overwatch, is just whenever a call happens, get everybody to follow it. And even if it's not the most successful play in the world strategy-wise, it can still be successful just by everybody doing what's been asked to be done. And I'd be very interested to start finding out who some of our specific shot callers that are and how they.
I do agree with you. I think along those same lines, I think the team that's going to win here is going to be the team that has the least amount of hesitation with any call being played. It doesn't matter if they have just one shot caller or just somebody that's calling play by play per se, like an envious style role, which I think is going to be extremely common in these pug style environments. You're going to have multiple people trying to call shots. As long as there's no hesitation in there, I think that's the team that's going to come out on top every single week.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm actually also, we seem to have a pretty decent pool players that start to be returning over and over and over again. And at a certain point, we're actually going to start getting a little bit of synergy, even though this is all randomized. Mm-hmm. And so I'm curious if what ends up happening when we have like two players that have played on a team before and one end up on a team together again. Will just the rest of the team immediately unite behind them or follow through?
I really think that all depends on the players. Like if one of those two players was a shot caller, or those two players really step it up, since they do have that kind of synergy. And I think a lot of these teams, if you notice, they end up being friends afterwards, and they will play afterwards if they do well, because you could see they really get along. And if you're winning, you're obviously doing something right. So I think you're going to see a lot more synergy coming down the line, say 5 more weeks in, even longer than that. You might see like teams of people that have won over and over and over again, depending on how they get placed.
Sorry for everybody that's watching the stream. If you see me keep typing, I'm going and trying to find out exact details on the draft and where we're sitting at with it. Naturally, even people that are in Twitch chat, we're getting updates from Icon and everything else like that. What's occurring inside of all of this. So we've got just about a minute before we switch over is what it looks like. Mm-hmm. So just to give everybody a heads up, this is going to be a best of one. Remember, we've talked about these teams are entirely randomized through our tournaments. So if you're interested, you like what you're seeing, make sure you hop on our Discord, find the links, join Minutemen. I mean, we take in anybody, regardless level, rank, anything. Just hop in, give it a try, meet some new people, have some fun. That's what it's all about. Meeting new people, having a blast. So
even if you're not competitive, just feel free to join. It's a great time.
And I think that we are just about ready, so we're going to go ahead and start getting ready to pass it back over to the casters. So as a heads up, we have Aaron, LOL, and that's got to be Kanye, and we'll pass it over to them.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, whomever you are on Twitch. Thank you for joining us here again at the Competitive Overwatch League. We are here live on a Thursday night with you guys, although we do have some Europeans playing with us. Spawning on Dorado right now. My name is Aaron, LOL, and I am joined by That's Gotta Be Kane. What's up, Kane? Talk to me.
Oh, my man, Aaron, I'm doing pretty good, man. Oh, it's feeling much better than I was last week. You know, life happens, nature happens, and, I had some bad RNG rolls. Bad
RNG.
Yeah, man, bad RNG with that cold. But you know what? Hey, we're here. We're back this week, and I'm ready. I'm ready to see what we're able to bring here with some of that Minutemen.
The play-by-play analysis of last week was That's Gotta Be Kane was stricken with the sickness, getting a bad RNG roll then. And, he still had esports work to do, though. And, when you got to do work, you got to do work. So Kane and I held it down last week. We had good viewership last week. We appreciate you guys being here. And really quick, if you're not already part of the Cow League Discord, again, as the analyst desk said, really recommend you get in there. So let's talk about this Dorado map right now. The teams are spawned, and I don't think anybody's picked a troll character to change and spawn yet.
No troll characters yet. No Torbjorns to stalk the doors and to wave at their enemies as they get positioned here. I believe over at the storage or the church, I believe. So it looks like Team 4 is going to be on the blue team, and Team 5, of course, going to be red. And right now, looks like we're finally going to see some Ana play though coming in from Team 5.
Yeah, I'm
interested
surprised.
in seeing how this works.
I'm surprised. I'm assuming they're really just going to coordinate their pushes with her ultimate. Her nano boost is pretty much the most useful thing in her kit, even regarding her disable people during their ultimate. So Team Blue, though, Team Thicc is holding the original classic spot that you hold on Dorado. Red team's done a really good job pushing away into this main choke, though, Kane.
Definitely not a whole lot being contested. against Team 5 right now, and maybe it's just running out some of the cobwebs that the team has, but Team 4 had they had the right idea when they started off, but it looks like they're failing to get in some results as everyone's getting pretty much split apart. The payload, uncontested, it's going to keep moving.
You know, so in this markets phase, the McCree from the attacking red team was just hanging out on the stairs, and he literally went uncontested. Once that McCree got a pick, the red team really just solidified their position, and they kept holding the W button. They just kept walking forward once their McCree got their pick. So their market phase looked pretty good, but as the blue team kind of got their staggered spawns where people were trickling in, it looks like the staggering spawns is actually what held the market phase for them so far. The cart's really far, but we're back to this choke point. We know this choke point's where all the action happens.
All right, and looks like Tissue went ahead and popped the high noon, but I don't really think that was really the best usage. Everyone being alive on Team 4, that pretty much resulted in nothing actually happening there. So looks like we now have Sidorio, the Ana with the ultimate, looking to see if they can go ahead and pop it on that Reinhardt when they can get on rallied back. Looks like they'll have enough power to push on through, but it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do, seeing as Vortewatch is actually with his ultimate. And
yeah, I'm thinking, okay, so we have a team fight, and it actually does go on the Reinhardt as you predicted. This isn't going to be good damage, and Team Blue already actually has a great position in this fight right now. The Reinhardt from Team Red has not really accomplished anything yet with the Ana boost, and Team Blue is just really holding this cart position, so this should be an unsuccessful fight for the blue team. Right when you said Reinhardt Ana boost, I wanted to bring up that the best idea is probably actually to roll their soldier in there with the Ana boost, but you really have to support your DPS either with your Reinhardt or both your tanks or your support. You can't just send a soldier in by themselves, so they're really going to need a more coordinated nano boost than that to get through this choke point.
Right, and it's just as up and there you have it right now. The Firewall is going to be coming out. The Torpedo Sucks are going to win. They're going to get a lot of kills. Team 4 doing everything they needed to knock them down with just a little under 2 minutes remaining. Team 5's got to bring it up, and it's like I said before, I predicted the Reinhardt getting the boost because given that narrow choke point, and given that Vortewatch actually had his shield, there wasn't going to be a lot of picks coming off of the Soldier 76 ult. They had to have something that was going to pierce in. But it's just like I predicted. Vortewatch had his ultimate up at the time, and he has it again now. He was able to stop that push entirely with that great crowd control. And it looks like they're going to probably go about doing it again, as it seems like Sidorio once again is going to get that nano boost coming right up. But Vortewatch again also has his ultimate, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to counter it like they did the first time.
The biggest thing I see here right now is Team Red's at a severe ultimate disadvantage. Deadeye is about ready, but not quite. And they really need some sort of DPS and a boost stall. It looks like they're changing the position and pushing the stairs into the market here, which is probably going to be much more successful than the push. We do have the nano boost on the enemy Reinhardt here, Team Red, but he goes down to the opposing Earth Shatter of Team Blue here, so their Ana ult boost was just completely shut down. Disregarding that, though, Kanscout comes up with the defense. Team Red's actually at an advantage there for a moment, but Kanscout cleaning up 3 and 4 kills there. This should be the end of the push for the red team.
And I'm not sure if you actually saw that when GodsBane actually went ahead with his ultimate. Vortewatch,
it whiffed.
Yeah, it whiffed entirely. Plus, of course, the other guy was shielded, which made it so that nothing was actually going on. A completely wasted.
Notice the switch to Tracer here on this overtime scramble. JD Ambrose decided to call the little cart dance that everybody does in overtime where you're just frantically shooting and jumping around the cart. We call that the cart salsa now. So we got the salsa dance going on from both teams, but this looks pretty hopeless for Team Red right now. Very solid hold by Team Blue, Kanscout there. They really just got pushed into the market phase, and once they got pushed back into the market phase, once they respawned, the hold was really easy, and it really came down to that Junkrat. The amount of sustained damage that he pushed out during that market phase was just crazy. The attacking team only went through that stairs attack path once, and I think they went there because of the Junkrat, because they couldn't get through that underbridge choke.
Yes, and again, huge shouts out to Vortewatch for perfect timing, great shield defense, great shield management. You know, like you said, there was a lot of options to either throw it on a 76 or, you know, allow for that extra power to go through, but they held that choke point really well, and a huge part of that was because of that solid shield management. There wasn't a lot of attacks going off. There's a lot of pickoffs going in for the blue team of Team 4, able to get off so many picks with their McCree, and given the fact that even given the Ana boost, there were so many whiffs. Again, KennyG throwing on the Zarya shield, Vortewatch throwing out the Earth Shatter, crowd control, completely nullifying for so many seconds, those valuable seconds on GodsBane, and once again, just very strong point defense in that with that choke point under the bridge. It just allowed for them to go into the market phase, but they had to use so much. They had to use so many ultimates. They had to use pretty much all of their pushing power. And the moment it was nullified by a single shield, it pretty much reset them. And I'm pretty sure that's gonna, of course, force them to maybe rethink the next time they go on defense. Maybe rethink if they're gonna use Ana if they can't get past after that first push. That first push being, you know, the nano boost with the Reinhardt and pretty much all of the meat which comes with the Ana Reinhardt combination or any nano boosted combination at all.
Yeah, not so much a gimmick, but maybe kind of a trick or, you know, a new style of play with the nano boost tactic for the push there. Pretty easy to shut down, though, again, if your positioning isn't good and if it's not timed well. We have a D.Va on the defensive team, so Team Thicc is on the attack now as they just were on the defense with a very good defense in the market phase. And it looks like the red team is just content on holding right now. D.Va doesn't do any damage from this range, but they have all their DPS's class up on this roof, so I think they're going to stay here because they're barely making the transition to the choke right now. Check out this Hanzo behind everybody, too.
Plus, I'm not sure if you're looking at this right now, but Vortewatch and many of their members try to go ahead and flank underneath the storage room, which allowed for the choke point, or rather allowed for the payload to start moving on under, which just kind of distracted so many of their members from Team 5, or rather Team 4, and just like that,
like you said, Vortewatch, all Vortewatch today, when Vortewatch was the first one to push into the market phase with his shields up, the Lucio for Team Thicc, aka Team Blue, just uses to amp it up on his speed boost, and he got all 4 of his characters in there to support his Reinhardt. And literally, just Reinhardt walking up with his shield and that speed boost is what took this street phase. This street phase is basically already over. There's not gonna be a payload salsa this time. Very, very convincing push from Team Thicc.
Very convincing push, and it's like we said before, the Ana play, it's not gimmicky, but it requires very precise play. It requires a strong push, and if you don't have good positioning, like you were saying before, it allows for easy shutdown. And what we saw from Vortewatch and crew, especially like you were saying, Kanscout, when he was playing on the Junkrat, there was so much sustained damage. There was so much nullification, there was so much crowd control, and they had such a small window to actually make their piercing attack go through, talking about Team 5, and they couldn't get it done.
Yeah. Very, very convincing there. So we're going to go back to the desk, guys. We are trying to get you our next game up as fast as possible. I've been Aaron LOL, and I am casting with That's Gotta Be Kane tonight. We're going back to Joneski's and Matrim here in just a moment, so stay tuned on the Cow League Minutemen tournament.
See you soon.
Hello, everybody. We're back. Oh, that was a quick one. It all comes down to that Devil Arch. It's always the Devil Arch and Dorado, man. It sounds like we're having a little bit of trouble with Joneski's. Can you check your audio settings real fast?
Check 1, 2.
There we go. Now you're back.
Ah, beautiful. Well, indeed, that was an extremely fast game. Like I said, I talked about before the game's even started, expect a Junkrat on Dorado, because that just really tore up.
Oh man, Kanscout's play on that Junkrat was just beautiful. It seems like anytime he got so much damage in, he was just like, what happens is you can, for everybody that isn't familiar, you can sit in that room right behind the arch and then just bounce grenades off the arch over and over and over again around the corner. He always seemed to have an ult up. Every single time the team would push in, there'd just be a tire that just flew out and took out the tank, one healer, go in, take out another tank, another healer. That archway has got to be the most frustrating thing to play around in Overwatch, in my opinion.
Yeah, not to mention he got multiple picks on the attempted pushes going on. They really struggled to stay together and stay safe until they needed to push. They really took up a lot of unnecessary damage, and by the time they went for a flank, it was too late. They had no time. They were down ultimates, and they even did a very good job of fighting when that push came out. But like you said, Kanscout consistently had his ultimate up, and really, as you saw in the play, the game at the end there, that really decided at getting 3 picks.
Yeah, I mean the whole team was doing phenomenally well. We also did see a Mercy re-enter right off the beginning for the attacking team in round 2. I don't necessarily have anything to say one way or the other about the attack because it all just seemed to happen so fast. Mainly, what ended up happening was the whole team for the attacking team in round 2 went through the underpassages while a couple of people pushed the card up, and then one fight happened, and then that was pretty much it.
That was it.
One thing I have to say though, I do absolutely love KennyG, the name for the Zarya on the attacking team for Thicc. I don't know why, but I'm just gonna enjoy this the whole time. Anytime, like I'm really hoping for a KennyG play of the game, and like maybe put on some KennyG in the background.
You know, that's one way to look at it, but you know, for us Counter-Strike players, we might look at that in a little different light. Just maybe.
Just before anybody judges me, I do not listen to KennyG. For the love of God, please, no. But right now we have the teams setting up again. While we're in between here, it's a great time to talk about tomorrow's event, which is the Cow Open. That is our amateur event where we get a whole bunch of the amateur teams together. It's not the draft style. These are fully assembled teams. And one of the things we need to let you guys know about is one of our sponsors, Matcherino, donates $1. Anytime all you have to do right now, you can just do !Matcherino, hop in there. All you have to do is press enter on the link, go in, type in our code, and you can donate $1 for free. And that money goes into the prize pool for the teams. Help out the amateur scene. Takes 10 seconds while you're sitting here listening to us talk. Do it.
Yep, that code is Cow Open for, I believe it's the 8th Cow Open. It is Cow League, actually, the code for the 8th Cow Open, if I'm correct. Last week, we had a prize pool of, I believe, $223. Somewhere in that general area, our biggest prize pool. And looking, hopefully, we can even increase that for tomorrow's event. But big shout out to Matcherino.
Now, there was something mentioned in here that this last match. I think it's very important we need this. Cart salsa. Is this what we're firmly dubbing the Tracer dance around the cart in overtime? Because I think I'm pretty down with it. But I mean, like people in Twitch chat, give us a help out. Is cart salsa the way we should roll this from this point forward? Is this what we're sticking to? Because I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the salsa brings a little flair to it. It's not quite it's not quite a waltz or a samba, but samba's just a little too much energy, though. You know, it's just right. It's
I don't think
right.
I don't think that we can call it like what is it the samba. Well, no, I guess samba does work. I'm versed in Overwatch and video games. I don't know specific dances. Like I don't know what do we call it, cart ballet. But I just saw inside of chat in Prince. The reason why we call ourselves Cow League is because competitive Overwatch. See how like CO and OW run together? It's like a nice little thing that works together. Cow League.
Yep, Cow Discord and Cow League.
And naturally, we're associated with the competitive Overwatch Reddit as well. So naturally, go to our competitive Overwatch. That's where you can get a whole bunch of news in regards to what's going on with events, pro matches, our events, any news, a whole bunch of really deep analytical discussion on why certain heroes are in meta. Naturally, being on there, doing a little bit of reading will just boost your game by a huge amount.
Yep. Watching these matches and playing in these tournaments definitely wouldn't hurt either. If you aren't a player already, feel free to sign up.
So, now then, what do we think of what we saw out of Team Thicc? I was pretty impressed with Vortewatch's. Is it Vortewatch? Vortewatch? I'm just going to say it real fast and hope people don't notice. Vortewatch. And he's doing a great Reinhardt. He was like they did a whole push in. I just worry that we didn't actually get to see enough out of the whole team. We really just got to see that first point. I want to see a challenge.
You only saw a glimpse of their offensive play. I mean, like we're talking about, they seem to have very little hesitation. The Lucio was able to keep everybody grouped to get a really nice speed boost off right through the gate. And, you know, I think that's really how you have to take that point. You just have to go fast and furious, because if you're trying to take that point slow, like, what was that? Team Grillbeard. Solid name, by the way. They took it just really slow versus Team Thicc, and Thicc just turned it to the exact opposite, and it worked really well for them. They didn't have to go for any particular flanks. I think they just outshot and grouped better. I mean, I think it's simple as that.
Hold on. My apologies about the little bit of delay there. I was talking about when the next matches are and who's exactly going inside of it. But yes, whenever you have a short match like that, it's really hard to see exactly what's going on with the offense. Or we saw phenomenally strong defense, and I mean that choke point is naturally one of the hardest to push through as an attacking team, and they showed that they could do it, and they did it really effectively. But I would love to see them. I want to see a challenge in the next match, and I'm really, really hoping we get that. So I believe that we have a little bit of a delay, and so Joneskis and I are going to take a quick break while we're waiting for the next match to finish, because they ran a little bit longer than this one. So we will be back here in just a few minutes. Thank you, and
sorry, I was about to say we'll be back with Team Thicc versus Team Blue after this little break.
Hello, folks, Twitch viewers. My name is Aaron LOL, and we are spawning here on Dorado. I am joined by That's Gotta Be Kane tonight. We're on the same map, Kane. What's up?
How we doing? How we doing? Yes, we are. Dorado once again. This time it's going to be Team 4 versus Team 11. Team 4 being on the red side, and of course Team 11 going on blue.
We got team names this time. I believe Team Red is, so Team Red is Team Thicc. And in the competitive spirit, we have Team Summer 16 in blue. So Team Thicc will be on attack here. Again, everybody, this is the competitive Overwatch League Minutemen tournament. Kind of works like a solo queue tournament. TLDR is you join the Discord, you get drafted, and then you join a randomly assigned team.
And of course, there is no pressure whatsoever to the competitive Overwatch Discord. People of all skill levels are able to join if you are looking to slowly ease your way into a competitive atmosphere, but having a nice community to be able to join yourselves with without, feeling too intimidated whatsoever, or being expected to pull out great numbers and anything like that. We are here. We are your shelter.
Feel the healing beat.
Bad guys.
All right, and we're live on Dorado now. The blue team with a very, very, very standard lineup here for Team Summer 16 as they are staying on the roof. Looks like the aggressive tank picks are going to be Roadhog and Winston for the opposing team. And it looks like the play is going to get started with Kanscout. Scout goes down very quickly from this flanking Genji from Team Thicc, and Team Thicc actually just decides to pounce on the cart. Team Red really just trying to slowly make their push to the cart. Usually most teams back up into the little choke point here, the bridge, but Team Thicc, actually Team Summer 16 really just pouncing on Team Thicc here, so already half of a team fight happening.
Exactly. As you saw, the numbers were a little dwindling, especially when you saw Kanscout get taken out. It was the perfect opportunity to bounce from that balcony and to start laying down the number.
Yeah, so we do have some sort of engagement happening here based off of this Roadhog hook. Same place as before underneath the bridge, but Team Thicc hasn't really decided where to push. They're actually all now bunched up, and blue team finally decides to come into the choke and engage here. Winston running away during this. He's not really accomplishing much right now as he's finally getting 2-on-1. Team Thicc looking unsuccessful here right now.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of their team is getting picked off and they're getting fragmented. We saw a couple of their members get splintered off, and of course Winston doing what it is that he's supposed to do was able to keep everyone pretty much away from the point, away from the rest of the team.
You know, there were a lot of ults spent here by Team Summer 16, and it's actually coming back to bite them in the butt right now. The Resurrect from Mercy on Team Thicc is getting the battle started again, but those frags were unfortunately picked up really quickly, actually. That Mercy res is looking a little bit questionable there. It's a decent idea, and Team Thicc is still on a huge ultimate advantage right now, but they haven't successfully pushed into this actual bridge choke. So I'm hoping to see either a really well-engaged team fight here or a different push path.
And as you're starting to see right now, Team Summer actually just knocked the payload right back from underneath the bridge right there from the balcony, which allowed them to pretty much reset up now. And as you're seeing Team Thicc, they're being forced to come around from another avenue.
Oh, and they are getting engaged. Literally, they're getting swarmed upon right now. The Earthshatter comes down from Holla 55 on Team Summer 16, which really started the fight. And this fight is actually going in the wrong direction. The blue team started with a concave here, so they should have been able to jump on their opponent to pick up the frag. But it looks like red team actually having a decent push against them, as the engagements were kind of improper there from the blue team's Reinhardt.
An excellent fight.
Yeah, it looks like they were able to get what they needed. They had to go from another approach, and with just about a minute left, they had to come in. They had to see if they can go in from underneath the balcony, try to make some kind of a flank push. And it looked kind of bad at first, as we saw Holla came in, of course, with the ultimate, knocking everyone down on the ground, but with the Earth Shatter, but they were able to recover because of that Primate Rage coming in from KennyG, and here they go.
Yeah, we have a lot of ults being popped right now. The Deadeye almost gets reflected, but actually picks up some kills here, all on the blue side. So a complete push shutdown here. Really weird amount of ults being traded. It all started with the Lucio sound barrier from the defensive team, and after that, there was a Deadeye that came out, and then all of the classes for Team Thicc just got fragged in the middle of the choke.
Yeah, with just a little under 20 seconds, moving on 10 seconds, this is going to have to be one pretty heavy push. We're going to probably see that funnel in as we were talking about in the last game, where it looks like Team Thicc's just going to have to barrel in, but oh wow, perfect Earth Shatter, which is going to keep them all from the point, and that's just going to do it.
Yeah, that Earth Shatter from Holla really spelling it out. We do have the Transcendence, and we have a DPS class and a tank class together for Team Thicc on the card here. So this is the best chance they have, but they're getting flanked by not only a DPS class, but a Roadhog from Team Blue. And Team Blue is literally just swarming the cart right now. Overtime is diminishing. We have a very convincing market hold again. And you usually don't see a hold in the market. It's usually the attack path that everybody can get past. Everybody blows up Volskaya Industries for having the first attack point that's really easy to capture. But the markets phase is also, like, most people get past it, and that is the second hold we've had in this tournament today.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it pretty much comes down to the same thing that we saw coming in from the former. We saw a lot of precise offense coming in, but it was not targeted directly. A lot of teams were getting split off as they're entering the marketplace because it's a pretty big area. It's, you know, surprisingly, given all the nooks and crannies and a lot of the marketplace stalls and stands, there's a lot of areas where you can get cut off, a lot of areas where you can get divided. And if you get divided, or if you split off and you're not splintering and having precise attacks, you can get cut off. You can get taken out. You can get picked off with no way to really get back to your team, given as your only way of really getting back is that choke point underneath the bridge, you know, or the stairway leading to the balcony. And most of the time, the defending team has both of those areas pretty much on lockdown. So once you funnel inwards, you're pretty much committed. You're pretty much committed. And if you can't, you know, solidify whatever offense you're going in with, you're just going to get split up. You're just going to get picked off. And that's what we saw a lot of, both in the first game with Team 4 and, of course, now this one with Team Summer. Amazing defense.
Yeah, Team Summer looked really good there. And that means, you know, this is actually essentially the tournament life for Team Thicc here. Team Thicc's looking pretty good, and the players that they have on their team have competed in the Cow League Opens before, usually with good results. So they're really going to have to strive for perfection. Like, they basically can't get wiped for more than 4 people, or else it's going to be game over. So I'm really just looking at the defending team here in this Dorado map here. Team Thicc is on the defense right now versus Team Summer 16, and they only have to get to the market phase as the capture indicator shows. And we're spawned here on Dorado for our second streamed match.
Yeah, but once again, here we are. We're going to see Team Thicc holding, of course, the balcony as we have Dmaster going in. He gets a nice pick off. Once again, Kanscout going down in the beginning.
All right, and it looks like the plan of attack for Team Red is just to let them get in the market phase and swarm them. They have to fight. The Zarya is all over top of the enemy team. KennyG has just been all over the top of the enemy team, laying down damage. Vortewatch finally decides to charge in. We have a relatively unsuccessful Earth Shatter come out from the blue team, but the payload is so far right now that this game is almost over already.
Definitely, and of course, Kanscout once again having been getting picked off really early is now the last person once again to be on the point. But there you have it, Kitten. Again, you have that funnel in. We have that Salsa dancing on the payload, but everyone is falling in. They're funneling in one by one. They are falling down.
Yeah, it's always a bad look when your Lucio is the one dancing on the cart trying to keep it from overtime. Very quick game there. I mean, these market holds have just been relatively incredible almost. You usually see people go a lot further than this, but we do have Team Blue, which is Team Summer 16 with CameronOP and crew. They're going to be advancing in the Cal Minutemen number 9 here. What's up with these Dorado maps, Kane?
I don't know, my man, but it looks like we're starting to see either what it means to be some sloppy offense, uncoordinated offense coming in, or otherwise just really strong cleanup defense. So either way it goes, we're seeing some pretty strong play here in the market. Some we could see some more organized play, as it were, when pushing in that point.
Maybe we'll see a different map on the next stream match, guys. We're going to go back to our little analyst desk thing that we give you guys. Again, this is the competitive Overwatch League. Please join our Discord. Help yourself out. Help out the community. Help Overwatch grow. My name's Aaron LOL, and I'm signing off momentarily with That's Gotta Be Kane.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Kane. Well, looks like we got Dorado again with that arch. It's always the arch when it comes to Dorado. That's the defining factor.
Quick games. I mean, both games were just full holds on the side of defense and just under 2 minutes to take the offense. It was flipped around, though. Team Thicc really just had trouble against Summer 16 there. I do want to mention, unfortunately to cut you off, that they had 2 returning winners from last week. CameronOP and Aurum, I believe is how you pronounce his name on that Roadhog.
Correct. Cameron was running a Vicious Soldier last week, and Aurum was running Roadhog, and it looks like they're just planning to repeat. They both played both those heroes very strong again this time around. There was something that was kind of interesting that happened in I believe it was the second hold, or the second round. No, it was the first round. It was the first round. Whenever the attacking team went down through the bottom entrance to try to go around and cut off the archway by taking the back path, and that was just sheer chaos that ended up happening over there. I'm guessing that the team that was defending on top of them managed to hear all their footsteps, and you just see that the defending team just jumped down, but they didn't have real line of sight. So right as soon as the Reinhardt jumped down, threw down his ultimate, not everybody was in a line to actually start doing damage at that point, and it managed to take an amazing defense that they were having and just completely shifted out, just because, again, everybody on the team just executed on the attacking side by pushing through that back path so efficiently and getting in and immediately pulling back out. It was a phenomenal move.
Yeah, you saw immediately that they jumped down. The Genji just was ahead of everyone else on the side of Summer 16 and getting picked, instantly making that a 5v6. But one thing that happened, because they did end up taking that fight, they had enough time to almost do a full respawn, as long as I believe Genji respawned very quickly, was able to hold with one other member of Summer 16 until the rest of the team got back and was able to wipe Team Thicc off that payload there, when they were almost able to take it.
Something I've been noticing in most matches is the survivability of Zenyatta. Have you noticed that Zenyatta almost always seems to be one of the last people up? More often than not, we're seeing 2 Zenyatas having their ults going, running around back and forth right next to the cart, trying to keep everybody alive. It seems like the teams are keeping such distance from each other that the Zenyatas are managing to build up enough ult that they're almost synced, that they both get ult about the same time and then both go in, and it seems just a matter of who manages to step out of the Zenyatta heal dies, and then that seems to be defining a lot of the team fights that we have.
Yeah, it seems like you're not seeing a lot of dive heroes in both these last 2 games. And when you do see these dive heroes, this Genji and say the Diva from last game, they were both on defense and they really weren't doing what their intended role was. I think seeing all these Zaryas and Roadhogs, they're these pick classes, but they're never going to get into the range of this Zenyatta. So Zenyatta has a very easy time, and as long as your team is focusing on those Zenyatta targets, I think that's the team that's going to come out on top. And most of these fights, it's not really the picks or the positioning, just because that's a 50% damage increase on whoever you're hitting. So as long as you have a few other people hitting that same target, he's just going to go down.
Yeah. Now, naturally, stream, just letting everybody know, we had another quick short match, so we're going to be ending up waiting for some of the other teams to finish off on the other side of the bracket. I believe after this, we will be moving into our semifinals. So what we're going to end up do is take a break here for just a second while we're letting those teams finalize, and we will be back with you here in just a few.
Good evening again, Twitch TV. This is the competitive Overwatch League bringing you guys the solo queue Minutemen tournament number 9. My name is Aaron LOL on Twitch, and I am joined by That's Gotta Be Kane, and we are not on Dorado. We are on the most popular map, Kings Row.
I am actually quite surprised that we didn't get Kings Row a lot earlier. As a matter of fact, I'm not surprised we didn't get Kings Row for both of those maps. Seems like Dorado was, in fact, flavor of the night, as it were. And looking at Kings Row, surprising to say it, this is probably a unique flavor for the night, given that this is now the first time that we're going to be casting on it.
Yeah, it's a very big surprise when you're saying a map like Kings Row or even Hollywood, but Kings Row is like the Badlands, which is a Team Fortress 2 map, and it's just that one map. All the competitive players love it. If you even play the game relatively competitively, like pickup games, you play Kings Row. It's the map everybody knows. Everybody knows what to do on it. Everybody knows what classes to choose, all that jazz. And Twitch TV viewers, we are again with the same team, Team Summer 16, in the red here, and the blue team is going to, oh hey, our lobby just went back, so we're going to get live back into the game. But regardless, Team Blue is Team Holla for $1 or something along those lines, and Team Red will be Team Summer 16, who just played in the Dorado match before this one.
Yep, and we're going to go ahead and just say it right now. We're going to get back into the game momentarily. But again, if you haven't already, this is, again, the competitive Overwatch Discord. We host weekly, both open tournaments and Minutemen tournaments like what you are watching now. You do not have to have any skill requirement level or have any expectations except to be cool if you are looking for any place to get involved, to dip your toes in the water, as it were, into the competitive side of Overwatch. Look no further. Join the Discord community. We can definitely have it linked for you in the chat. We are more than happy to have any of the admins and generally just the community as a whole help you out, give you guys any scoops that you might need, and generally speaking, just have people have themselves enjoy themselves and get in as much Overwatch as possible.
Yeah, guys, the competitive Overwatch League Discord, you can actually find it at the subreddit /r/competitive Overwatch. We are also a Discord partner, actually, the competitive Overwatch League is, so we got full approval from Discord and from the community. In the Cow League Discord, there's everything from pro top tiers players like Papa Smurf and Renbot and Ultima Web to players just playing in pickup games, just trying to get practice with one another. Very big community in the Cow League Discord, so really recommended, not only for the Overwatch community and growth in that, but really for your own growth.
Definitely, and here we are back into the lobby, back into the game itself as we start to get set up. Again, this will be Team 11, Summer 2K16 against Team 1's Holla for $1, I believe that's what it is.
Holla get dollar. They're trying to get dollar.
Okay, so they haven't. In fact, they don't have the dollars yet. They wish to get them. Is what we're saying.
Sounds like it, and they want to make sure you holler at them first. That's for sure.
You have to holler. Okay. Okay.
Team names and sides have not switched. We are spawned here on Kings Row. And looking for the troll picks right now. CameronOP, oh man, I hope a freaking spider bites you in your bed tonight for doing this to me. I know you're not playing that Toblerone.
Even has the turret set up right in front of the door to give a nice greeting. Oh, man.
And Twitch viewers, we're about 5 seconds away from spawning on Team's Row here. Just to let you guys know, this is a best of 3. We're playing King's Row, we're playing Hollywood, and we're playing Route 66 if we're to go to 3 maps. So we are live. Everybody is spawned here. What do you think is going to happen, Kane? Where are they pushing? What are they doing with this Genji, more importantly?
Yeah, they're actually going to go in from the tavern as they go into that choke point, trying to psych people out, as it were, so they don't have a direct sight of where they're going in through that choke point. And I would say it allowed them a little bit of leeway, as you're seeing now Holla and, of course, the rest of Team Holladala coming in for the round. They're pushing quite nicely onto the point, though, as we're able to see. Not a lot going down.
Yeah, they're down their DPS class, so their Genji took a lot of damage, and he's just now joining the fight. Not really committing anything, but he's now finally starting to get aggressive on what looks like the tanks. And the speed boost coming out from Team Red here, Team Summer Games, looking like they're really holding this attack right now. I mean, they just showed up on the point and fragged. That's all that just happened there, Kane. Nothing else. I mean, what happened? Did you see it? I just saw fragging, and it happened quick.
It happened really quick. It was very methodical, very pretty much paced out. We saw, rather not even paced out. It was very hectic, but again, it was that precise aggression that we were talking about earlier on. Whereas we saw on the Dorado matches, you know, we had a lot of defense. They couldn't hold on with that. But we also had a lot of offenses as well. You know, they were going in trying to be very offensive, but then they would get caught behind those points or in those choke points, you know, get stuck in the marketplace. Here, what we saw, like you said, straight frag, complete and utter outplaying of the other enemy team.
Yeah, really, when their Genji decided to engage, he engaged on a tank and threw him off. Speaking of, if you guys didn't notice, this Genji and Reinhog on Team Red, Team Summer 16, got really lucky. They were really overextended, but their team was on the cart the entire time. They both lived, so nobody has gone down in the past 60 seconds. No frags at all, and we're looking for an engagement because we have almost 6 ultimates ready for Team Red as the whole hog comes down for Team Red. Team Summer 16 is pushing, and they are not being stopped. There's almost 0 resistance in this fight right now. All right, the Transcendence goes down. We have support ultimates on both sides being popped. The Deadeye from Cameron's relatively unsuccessful with just a frag on the DPSer, but with all these support ults going down and the frags already being spelled out, that one kill from Cameron just solidifying the fight there. They had high ground the entire time, and all the support ults were gone.
Yeah, once again, just completely outplaying the enemy team. Just over 6.5 minutes. They have all the time in the world. And right now, it looks like they're not even starting. As you can already see right now, BKB already going in with the Bastion pick. That just goes to let you know just how much they're frantically going in. And Dmaster just causing all sorts of frantic, just...
It's a very, very nice Diva ult throw there. If you guys didn't notice, the Team Red Genji, so Summer 16's Genji Dmaster, was actually 1v5ing the blue team, really just keeping them busy so the enemies wouldn't stop the payload. But that Diva ult was a 3-person kill. Very, very easy pushback from Team Holla Get Dalla.
Yeah, it was a very interesting pushback. Interesting to see if they can get that Bastion play to get the most out of it as they can. I can tell they're playing pretty conservatively. They're staying way in the back. Perhaps they don't want to risk, you know, the frag, which is probably smart in a lot of their like, seeing as Team Summer have been very good so far at really just piecemealing all of their team.
And this is a really nice speed boost in, followed by Ignite Earthshatter from Team Blue. They have not dealt with the Bastion, though. Team Red finally gets in there to take out this Bastion. He's been Earthshattered, but he is still not down. Finally, the Bastion for the blue team goes down, and really, this Deadeye from CameronOP is just solidifying the kills so the team can push the cart. That was almost a scary push there, but, I mean, they really just got on top of that Bastion once they recovered from the Earthshatter. Nice push here from Team Red. Team Summer Games in their final push there. They survived an Earthshatter as their team was stunned, but right when they got out of that Earthshatter stun, they hopped on Bastion, and the fight was pretty much over after that.
Pretty much, and all we had again was the trickling in of the payload. Again, you had the Lucio, you had the Tracer, and it was just piecemeal. There wasn't even enough time for people to even really, you know, corral themselves back onto that point to mount any kind of defense.
Why was that such a convincing push on this Team Summer 16 end?
You know, I really can't say. Honestly, I'm just trying to think. I saw not much other than, you know, Tewbookoo's Diva ult that did a pretty nice knockback of taking out, you know, 3 people, allowing for, you know, the team to kind of regroup. Generally speaking, I believe Team Red just outplayed. They just outplayed them.
They're just out-fragging them.
They're out-fragging them. They're beating them in skirmishes. They're beating them in the push. I'm starting to think that maybe Team Holla just doesn't necessarily know what to do in terms of, you know, stopping and staunching the kind of hard pushes that's coming in from Team Summer, because as we saw from the very beginning, it was pretty methodical. The general same premise that you would have on King's Row. Reinhardt, rest of the team mounts behind, you frag, you try to take out the enemy shields, you move in, and you make the push. And from what we saw from Team Holla, we saw them, I think, they were posturing, wondering on what to do.
You know, I think they played too passively, did Team Holla.
Definitely.
You know, I like to say the new Diva shield, the new defense matrix, kind of like a second Reinhardt, because you can toggle it on and off. And they had a Reinhardt and a Diva, but they were either soaking too much damage and not being aggressive enough. That's the only thing I could see, because they were not keeping up in the frags at all.
Definitely. So we're going to have to see a change of mentality coming in. I believe we're probably going to have to see that same kind of aggression that came in from Team Summer now for Team Holla, and hopefully they can have it be as precise as Summer was.
So the DPS class choice here is relatively interesting. The Genji Dmaster is staying on Genji, even though he is on defense this time. Maybe it's just his most comfortable character. Not really sure. We'll take a look to see if we see a switch. I just really like this theater push. I really like this plan of attack.
And you know what? He's probably very comfortable on the Genji with Dmaster, and I would see why not.
Yeah, so we just had a speed boost from the red team here. The blue team decided to attack again, like I said, the theater path, and go to the back stairs as, you know, continuing their theater push. What happened, though, is red team really, they saw them going into the staircase. They speed boosted their whole team in there, and just, it looked like Genji got all the kills, but realistically, he just cleaned up all the kills.
Definitely. It's like you were saying before, Dmaster being on the Genji, just earlier on as they ran inside the, you know, inside the tavern or whatever, you just saw he ran in against 5 other men and he came out alive, pretty much unscathed.
Oh man, and we have a Earthshatter being spent from Holla here in an attempt to start a team fight. The Earthshatter whiffs though, and it's actually looking good for pretty good for Team Blue here. Team Summer 16 is really scrambled right now. Their support was only left alone with their McCree for a while, and their tank went down relatively quick as well. He's relatively pushed out of the fight very quickly. So double Transcendence on point. If you guys didn't notice, we have a switch to Winston, which is literally just a counter Dmaster. As you see, 2 woke for you actually pick up the kill on Genji. So maybe this Winston aggression and Genji counter has a little bit to do with that successful push there.
Definitely, it starts to really, you start to see now Holla is actually starting to have more respect for Team Summer. If they need be on defense, if they're willing to keep a Genji because they're the most comfortable and they're able to pay all those dividends for their team, you best bet that you need to have some kind of pick to counter them, even if it's just for that one player if you need to. Because as we were able to see, Dmaster is able to do a whole lot for the team of Summer 16. And it's just, even on defense, they're able to cause so much disarray. They're able to cause the entire team to focus on that one man to take them down. If they're able to do that, and they're able to do it successfully, and they keep you from being able to push as you'd like, then yeah, you need to do something about it.
Yeah, so we actually have interesting engagement here, and really it's just Dmaster again kind of carrying the team. Dmaster decides to dash in and pop Dragon Blade right away, which is resulting in this ensuing fight. A dominant push here, from Team Summer 16, and really all it was their Genji hitting shift. He hit Q right afterwards, and once that Dragon Blade was out, his whole team came and supported him. Very nice kill in the streets phase here. We have another Dragon Blade coming down from the attacking team this time, but I mean, take it away, Kane. You can tell that's nothing happening here.
DTS nullifying everything with that perfect tranquility, and once again another cleanup. And they're funneling in. Even as we speak now, they're not even comfortable enough to leave the spawn room. They're kept in the spawn room.
Did you see the Zenyatta taunt? He did it 3 times in a row and choked.
I mean,
oh wow!
Comfortable enough to do so.
So he might pay for those taunts there. We have a very good Earthshatter coming down on the side of the blue team. coming out from checkout, but I mean, right as that Earth Shatter went down, there was a defensive sound barrier from Team Summer 16. That defensive sound barrier comboed with a whole hog from Team Summer 16, another easy cleanup. Literally a 4-0 frag ratio on that fight.
And already we can see the payload is starting to move right back underneath the underpass, this choke point, and that's exactly what Team Summer's been doing. They've been pushing them from the choke point. Now with the payload actually moving on, they probably have a whole lot more. And now we're starting to see they're going in through the hotel, trying to get some kind of a flankage, some different kind of an avenue.
Oh man, what a nice Earth Shatter there from Holla. Just very well timed, caught multiple people in it. The classes are all just, you know, split up as it happens with most of these fights. And I like the fact that they chose a different attack path. I'm going to say that they're not being aggressive enough, though. Like, if they rush in, if Team Blue rushes in and gets blown up 5-1 in a fight, fine. But they're doing a lot of stancing and posturing, and they're not really doing anything with it. And it looks like, to me, the red team is just engaging on Team Blue on Team Red's terms.
Yes, and not only that, I'm trying to think, maybe they're even a bit splintered with their cohesion, you know, as a team. They're not even really moving all in sync, as we're able to see right now.
Yeah, we do have a Tranquility coming out on the defensive side and an offensive Dragon Blade coming out from Team Blue. We're actually 2 frags before these Genji frags showed up, so we have a huge lead for Team Blue now. Unfortunately, ZGSkyMac popping a sound barrier in a little bit of a panic there, just ensuring that they really solidify this street phase. So they're going to get a big payload push, but they blew a support ult when they really didn't need to. Team Holla looking much better right now, though.
Looking a lot better right now, though, of course, given time, they have just under 2 minutes. I think we might see, are we going to possibly see, I'm not sure, we might see another push in coming in to stop the payload from coming in, but I believe they're going to go ahead and snag this next checkpoint. Yeah,
they're going to get the checkpoint, but I'm gonna agree with you on Team Red engaging because they just got their sound barrier up. He's spamming that Z button. He's telling his team that he has sound barrier ready. So I'm expecting some sort of engagement with the speed boost here very soon.
Yep, they have everyone in position. Of course, as you can see, Holla doing really good use of that payload for cover and defense.
Okay, we have an Earth Shatter coming down on the offensive side. Team Holla really getting in there. Very nice combo. They decided to combo Earth Shatter with the Diva ultimate, but the defense is starting to fight back now. Not only do we have a Deadeye come out, but the Reinhardt ultimate as well. So the combination, I'm sorry, it wasn't a Reinhardt ultimate. It was actually a Transcendence, I believe, followed by the Deadeye. And, I mean, it was just a quick cleanup from Team Red there. Team Summer 16 looked like they were put on the ropes for a second and recovered greatly.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you saw that, but Dmaster actually got taken off really early with that hit. And as you can tell, it was a 5v6 that entire time, and they were still able to out-frag and out-damage, and simply just outplay Team Holla.
Yeah, so Holla, really, Team Holla get Holla, got some good cart movement. They have the payload in a much better place now, so they don't have to actually fight around the corner. They can fight down the corridor now. They really need to do some sort of aggressive engagement, though. I think they need to get confident and get aggressive to even push this payload.
Definitely. It looks like Dmaster once again going in, trying to get some kind of damage out, but he gets picked off pretty easily, and that's probably the risk that you suffer when flanking in with the Genji.
Man, and Abrupt really popping that Dragon Blade there, trying to make something happen. But they actually just decided to trade ultimates and not have a team fight, trading a Transcendence for a Dragon Blade. So the ultimates are not an advantage for everybody. Oh, very interesting timing. Defensive sound barrier from Summer 216. We have both support ultimates coming down from the blue team right now as we have a hectic payload fight. Dragon Blade coming out from Dmaster trying to pick up kills, but Team Blue's looking really strong here in this fight so far. All their tanks are still alive.
Tanks still alive. The supports are both still alive.
All right.
They're going to start putting in some pressure, trying to outfrag, trying to get what they can, so long as the front line is, well, not in the front line. They're not able to do anything, causing a lot of disarray on Team Summer, and it looks like they're struggling to kind of regroup themselves as Team Holla continues.
They haven't dealt with that Roadhog either. I don't know if you saw that Roadhog just got 2 people that were trickling in. Easy kills there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he actually got away. See, that's what I was saying. They were actually running off. I thought they would have had the Roadhog. I actually thought they were going to be able to pick them off and continue their push, but I mean, that's what we were saying before. If things like that are happening where they have the field and numbers advantage, yet they're still getting picked off, they're still getting out-fragged, then it's just a matter of being outplayed. And with just under a minute remaining, this just may be Holla's last push. Only 2 ultimates coming on 3 against 3 going on 4 ultimates of Team Summer.
Man,
they're gonna
and
have to make something happen.
getting D.Va out of her mech suit, Kane, really just might as well take her out of the equation. We even see some competitive players kill themselves after they lose their suit, you know, just to spawn quicker. So we're not going to have a push for a little while here. The Reinhardt is
check out as he checks out of this game with 10 seconds remaining. Aurum getting another pick, and they don't even get the engage. They don't even get the engage. Holla gets no dollars.
Oh wow, sneak the play here. She might, nope, she doesn't pick up any kills at all, but she stalls for a little bit of overtime. Unfortunately, nobody is near the card. We are going to go to map 2 in between the fight for these two teams. So it'll be the same two teams, and we're going to go to Hollywood as our next map as we watch this play of the game defensive explosion here. Do you have anything to say for Team Blue besides they weren't aggressive enough? I mean, it really just looks like that to me.
Not only were they not aggressive enough, I actually saw a lot of times as they were moving in from the apartments over at Kings Row after that first point, they just simply weren't able to, I believe, work well enough. As we saw before, they were able to get that nice triple in from the Genji, from Abrupt's Genji. They were very splintered. They were very scattered. I believe they were maybe even struggling on what to do. Where should we go? How should we push? And I think you started to see that because they didn't even leave the spawn room. Whereas before they were trickling out, thinking, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this, and they would get taken out. So then they would stop, they would regroup, they would try to posture a little harder, they would try to go in much stronger. But as we were able to see, simply put, they were out-fragged, they were outbeat. And as we saw at that last push, they didn't even get the engage. They didn't get the engage. They just got splintered off, they got picked off, and they got beat.
Yeah, not only was the fragging for the red team, which is Team Summer 16, looking better, they really just, didn't overextend. They really chose their fights, and every time their Lucio used Amp It Up with Speed Boost, they engaged. Like, they didn't do that half-hearted engage. Like, they fully engaged. There were at least 5 people on top of the enemy team. So, hopefully, if we see more aggressive play, I really think just they call it Death Ball style, where you get all 6 of your characters together in a similar area, unless there's a Zarya that has ultimate, and you just go try and force a fight. So I'm hoping to see something more along those lines from the team sides actually switched, but hoping to see that sort of play from Team Holla here. Okay, we're all sorted out in chat. We had to calm the teams down there. I think Summer 2K16 thought they had the victory, actually the 2-0 map victory. We are going to our third map, which is going to be Route 66. So this will be to advance into the grand finals for whoever wins this. And again, the tiebreaker, if both teams are to successfully push this and get a coin flip in the game that you guys are so used to in competitive mode, that is when we will go to our 1-round first capture King of the Hill tiebreaker. Check it out, Kane. We got another icon switch, another portrait switch.
So we got full Illidan coming in against the Zenyatta.
Oh, hey, they messed up.
Icon?
It is a Zenyatta icon, but they only have 5 of them, and the other team has 6. So,
that might be an omen.
So we're spawned here on Route 66. Again, this is the same teams. We have Team Red this time, who is going to be the Team Holla Get Dalla. It's so hard to say their name.
You just go with Team Holla if you.
Yeah, you really got to think their words out beforehand. So Team Red, Team Holla is going up against Team Blue, which will be Team Summer 16 again. For those of you guys that missed the stream as it went down, Team Holla had a successful map capture, taking the Hollywood map, bringing them to the tie here, playing the third map, Route 66. And as Kane and I were kind of talking about, is kind of a momentum shift, really. The game that happened on Hollywood while the stream was away was a really close game, much more aggression from Team Holla, and the matchup basically looks much more even than it did when you guys saw the first map on Kings Row.
Definitely. So, yeah, the momentum shift with Kings Row, I'm guessing, again, from what we were able to see, it was definitely more of a map preference. Kings Row showed Team Summer completely just dominant. They were able to get every nook and cranny. They were able to get in all the offense needed. Very precise, very dominating. And then come here with Hollywood and Team Holla Get Dalla. they were able to show that no, they weren't going to get bullied around so easily, and they started to show with that Zarya pick the complete change in their offense. So here we are with the best of 3 to decide who's going to be going to the grand finals.
All right, looks like we have a normal gas station hold. Take this gas station hold away from me. I ran into a bit of an issue.
All right, well, here we have it right now. Team Summer, they're going to be posturing on this gas station, trying to get out whatever kind of offense they can to break the shields. As we can tell, there wasn't going to be a whole lot of helping and defense near that train, so definitely the gas station is going to be having a nice hold. Generally speaking, though, this was a really interesting pick with the D.Va. D.Va is very much a very high, strong, very fast pusher when it comes to breaking up lines at the gas station with this very first point. And now we're starting to see a lot of damage is going to be coming out. But how we have it now with CameronOP not showing any kind of regret right now, no relenting offense coming in from Relentless as Cameron takes out Tewbookoo, and as Checkout is able to take out Cameron, stopping whatever offense that he can. It's not going to be a whole lot as the Earthshatter is going to go ahead and get down, throwing out from Checkout. Holla, get Dollar starting to show a little bit more offense as both tanks remain. Lucio with Zosky is still going to show all the offensive prowess, and they're able to continue this hold.
You said it. Their offense looked great. They're interesting running a triple tank too. They have Reinhardt and they have Winston D.Va, and right as you said, D.Va getting in the backlines, disrupting things. The Winston and the D.Va were both doing what they're meant for, getting in the backlines, really disrupting things. So it's really interesting. They have a triple tank pick here, but it seems to have gotten them that first point with almost relative ease. They had very little resistance once the blue team came off the gas station. Very little resistance.
And what I'm actually going to start predicting here is that Tewbookoo's probably going to switch off the D.Va once they're able to pop that ultimate and start moving on by, because generally speaking, D.Va doesn't do entirely well after these first points.
Yeah, that's very well said. Transcendence coming down from the defending here, from the defending team here, but between the Whole Hog and the Reinhardt and the Genji all over the cart, it's really not gonna actually stop that defense there. Roadhog, you know, along with his tank, just making very, very easy pushback for Team Blue. So Team Summer looks like they're still in the game right now with the solid hold. We just have a lot of posturing right now. The 2 long-range characters, CameronOP and Zenyatta, just hanging out on top of the high side hotel at the moment.
And Tewbookoo's ultimate is going to be up in any moment. It is now up, and as you can tell, they're going to probably go ahead and try to stop themselves for an offensive push, getting that ultimate getting down, which there you have it right now. It's going to try to go ahead, get himself a push. Doesn't get any kills. It doesn't, but it does do enough to start pushing away some of Team Summer.
Yeah, and Team Summer actually getting pushed back here. They look like they were defending well, but honestly, I think this triple tank composition is throwing them off. The red team does not have, the blue team does not have a Reaper to deal with all of the red team's tanks. So, I mean, that McCree just dying right there, CameronOP was a perfect example. He had a D.Va and a Winston on top of him. And even if that McCree was with another DPS and a Zenyatta, you can't kill that much health that quickly.
Exactly. There's way too much health, way too much damage that needs to go out than what can be dished out. And as we're seeing right now, Summer doing what they can. Aurum trying to push back everything. But it's enough to get Tewbookoo right out of the mech, which is going to start for a nice reset or whatever, which is going to delay that ultimate coming out. But as you can tell, generally speaking, Tewbookoo would normally switch out. But given the fact that he's already at around 60% after that first ultimate, I'm thinking he's going to keep it.
This is really scary. The red team, Team Holla has a huge ult advantage, and they just blew all of their ults to win this team fight, but they have won this team fight decisively. Everything from Deadeye to Transcendence all coming out at once. We do have a Primal Rage and a Sound Barrier up for a push as well, so Team Red is not necessarily totally out of ultimates to push with, as they have 2 of them coming up here in the next minute as we get into this garage phase.
And as we're looking now, they're actually encroaching 3 ultimates, so they're actually about to take the lead in comparison to Team Summer right now, as they only have the 1. They're not even necessarily near 2, as Holla is the only one that's going in for the Earthshatter, but he's not yet at 70%. So once again, 3 ultimates coming in. With that D.Va ult here, especially in this hangar bay right now, that's going to be a lot of damage. It's going to cause a lot of dispersion coming in.
And there it is. There comes the D.Va ult, as you called it. This is a very good area to do it. She doesn't pick up any frags, but there's a lot of zoning going on, and the red team decides that they are engaging right now. Reinhardt is up front. D.Va is up front. Winston is up front. The only people on the card are Zenyatta and McCree, as that they are long-range characters. And unbelievably, Summer 2K16 is folding. They are not outperforming Team Holla at all right now. Team Holla is looking great on this push. They are going to be pushed back by this Whole Hog, so they're going to need to recollect here. Everybody from the blue team has spawned, but they got that payload so far with just 1 D.Va ult.
one Diva ult, and with the amount of disruption you're able to cause with that Winston going into his primal rage, there was so much dispersion. As we saw, the payload having moved up, just going on now feet from the finishing line, and if you can simply push out another combo just like that, you don't need to get the kills. As we saw, they were able to simply bide enough time, get enough movement, and that's generally all that matters. And when you're fighting here in this hangar bay with all these closed-in quarters, it's gonna force you to move. You can't stay where you are, which is gonna allow that payload to keep moving. And now as we're starting to see Summer right now doing everything that they can to keep off the push, they're actually starting to move that payload back. Dmaster finally starting to get in a little bit more movement, and he's able to get off a few picks, just enough to cause, Team Holla just to kind of splinter back, to really kind of rethink. And we're starting to get now, even though they start to encroach once again, about 3 or 4, they're actually about to encroach an entire 6-man ult. Start moving in. There you have it right there. Having Astor is going to start popping in the Tranquility along with the sound barrier to nullify a lot of damage, and the ults are just coming out right there now. There you go. The Diva ult's going to start moving out just as well as the High Noon starts to move out. There you have it right now. DTS is going to try to nullify everything they can, and it looks like they're going to get a nice return, and Summer is actually able to hold off the onslaught of 6 ultimates right in from the back, and just like that, Team Summer is actually able to take out 3. They take out 4, and they're gonna force all of Team Holla to regroup. In just over a minute and a half to go, they're gonna have to start rethinking what they're gonna do. Is Tewbookoo gonna actually stick with the Diva? Generally speaking, this is actually a great area actually for the Diva to start moving in due to those ultimates, but I'm starting to think right now Team Summer is starting to regain. They're starting to corral themselves. They're starting to show that they're not out of this just yet. But Dmaster is again showing all the power in the world as he shows that flanking prowess, taking out the interesting choice as BKB decides to play the Bastion, but he gets taken out immediately. And now with just under a minute remaining, Summer is starting to show up. They're starting to hold. The payload has been moved back so far as it was just at the 18 semi, as it just started to move in towards the finish line, but just like that, it's been moved back almost all the way as it starts to make that corner. And I believe, looking at this payload, it's actually going to pay more dividends for the defense to use it as its own kind of shield, as it were. And there you have it, the shield coming in as the power barrier is going to try to, the sound barrier is going to try to hold off whatever kind of offense is going to come down from Team Holla, but they're not going to show it, as there you have it, the counter sound barrier is going to go out. But just like that, Summer is going to hold. They're going to take them down in just 10 seconds remaining. The rest of Holla is going to have to funnel in. They're going to have to hold, doing everything that they can just to commence overtime. But Aurum with the perfect knockback. Don't think they're going to allow it, but there you have it. Astor is going to come in. He's going to go in with Tewbookoo. Tewbookoo has the ultimate. They're going to drop it down. They have to get many kills with this one. They only get DTS, but is it going to be enough to have them continue? Tewbookoo now forced to put up the barrier, trying to nullify any kind of damage from CameronOP's 76. But just like that here by themselves, Checkout is going to charge. He's going to get himself a knockdown up the front right now, but it's going to move them off the point. Tewbookoo scrambling onto the point right now as they try to keep the overtime going, but there's not a lot moving on, and just like that, everyone's going to get moved back. Summer 16, they actually hold, they actually keep the point. They're gonna get the best of 3, and we're gonna move on to that second round.
Switching sides.
Wow, that was absolutely amazing, and to actually think that we had enough power coming in from Team Summer to hold, they actually held that. Amazing play, and actually from what we were able to see, we actually started to see the Diva started paying great dividends with the Winston, but as Winston started to get switched off, I believe that Diva from Tewbookoo should have also been switched off as well, because as we were starting to see, the splintering of the enemy team coming in from Team Summer wasn't getting as phased as much. They weren't finding that kind of divisiveness as we saw from before. Team Holla was not able to disrupt and move that payload as much as we saw when the Winston started getting moved off. And when that happened, I believe they should have swapped off. They should have went Zarya. They could have probably even went perhaps just some extra offense in any way. They already had the 2 tanks, but as they started to switch off to the 1, it wasn't really the best idea to keep Diva of all people in that last hangar base. So it'll be really interesting to see exactly how they're able to continue. But right now, Team Summer showing that they are holding on. They're holding strong. They're doing really well and showing that they are just right now at match point to taking this series and moving on to grand finals. And as we're able to see, yes, they're not going to go in with the Diva this time for Team Summer Rae. They're actually, are they really going to move in? Is Cameron? No, Cameron is not going to play Hanzo. There we go. Hanzo, please. There we have it. Team Holla is going to start off, it seems, with the Zarya. Check out, of course, on Reinhardt. We're going to have Ziggsy again on the Lucio. Tewbookoo, of course, going to be playing on the Reaper. Abrupt on the McCree. And Astor again on Zenyatta as we proceed with this attack. Team Summer are going to have to make things happen. As Dmaster once again keeping with that comfortable pick with the Genji. We have SilverPuddin going to go, of course, on the Lucio. Aurum again on the Roadhog. Holla is going to be on the Reinhardt. DTS again on the Zenyatta and CameronOP with Soldier 76 as they start to stall again at the gas station with the same usual, going in with the offense, not playing, too aggressive just yet, just shelling. A lot of AoE coming in, a lot of pokes going in, trying to get whatever damage, but once again, they're not really stopping the payload from moving.
Indeed, they're just sitting up on Earls here. It's really, they're just letting him push the cart here. Unfortunately, not able to take any fights. As Roadhog here getting a lot of hooks, getting those picks as needed, and then DTS really cleaning up with that Zenyatta Discord Orb.
Yeah, they don't really let a lot go down as they take this first point. Team Summer, that is, pretty convincingly, and with just a little over 5 minutes, we're actually seeing a much quicker push as we're able to see. Once again, we're starting to see from Holla, like we saw in King's Row, that passive play. They're a little timid when moving in, perhaps thinking, not sure on how they move out, so they're just posturing. They can't afford to show that like they did in King's Row. They're very spread out, very pushed back. There's not a lot of pushing. Look at, they're not even at the bridge to try to hold this choke point, trying to hold the gas station or hold the the cycle industry. They're just allowing for Team Summer to keep moving in, and if they keep allowing that, it's gonna be what takes them out. And Dmaster getting the quad as he cleans them all up, and Cameron taking out Checkout. My goodness, and like I'm saying, it was that passiveness. They postured, they didn't make their decisive playmaking, they didn't decide to go in. And because of that, it allowed for Team Summer to not hold the brakes. They went in, they team wiped them all. And now Dmaster is just causing all sorts of disruption once again, just like King's Row.
DM really showing that he is a master of that Genji there. He picked up, I believe, 4 kills it was. Just going to their back line, that's really showing that the hesitation from Red Team out here coming is like just their downfall. They're not really pushing in when they need to. They're giving up way too much ground, but this pick on a Dmaster really getting that pick there, but I don't think they're going to push in. They're just going to keep trying to play the shield game. But check out getting that kill there.
It looks like they're actually gonna get it in right there as Aurum and the sound barrier moves down. The counter sound barrier moves in, but it's a little too late as 3 people are gonna get taken out nonetheless. And just like that, Aurum is gonna start moving in, putting in a lot of pressure on Ziggsy, which is gonna reduce or rather nullify any heals coming out. Cameron's gonna take out Astor as well as Tewbookoo, and just like that, Ziggsy is gonna get taken out by Aurum. And I don't think anything's gonna be able to get done as everyone is funneling in. Abrupt puts out the final nail as he gun. Oh, there you have it. He actually is able to take out SilverPuddin and Dmaster, but is it gonna be enough? And no, Abrupt is not getting on the point. He's not stopping the payload from moving, and it's gonna get taken out as Ziggsy also not getting on the point. This passive play from Team Holla is gonna be the downfall of their final semi-final run, and as they continue to try to move in, they can't get anything done. They second-guessed themselves one too many times. They didn't learn their lesson from King's Row, and it was a decisive full-on push from Team Summer. They took it out, and here we have that play of the game with Dmaster where he got that quad kill of the team. Like I said, that passive play from Team Holla, it couldn't be shown. That was their downfall this entire time. I'm not sure what happened, man. I'm not sure what happened and what allowed them to second guess and to play so passively.
I'm really not sure. They played so confident after that first King's Row game, and then they just went right back to it. They kept losing that shield battle, and like just getting earth shattered and having Dmaster just come around behind them. They were having issues focusing at the end there, just like in that first Kings Row game. It unfortunately, they just weren't able to bring it back around. I think that just their morale just kicked down after that first half where they weren't able to complete. I think that's really what did it in for them.
I'm
They were
pretty
unable
sure
to do
that might have
anything.
done it. Yeah, they showed a lot of really pretty solid play. They weren't being too aggressive. At the same time, that's what we expect from the first point. You know, just shelling out artillery or otherwise just trying to poke and whittle them down before going in for the charge. And we saw that. We saw that at the gas station. We saw that, and that they were able to pretty much hold for a bit. But once they failed that, rather than corralling themselves together to start dishing out that damage to aggressively start moving in, they played way too cautiously. They fell back on their old ways like they did Kings Row, and that was their biggest downfall. They needed to continue with that confident play, with that kind of offense, and because of that, it just allowed them to fall apart. And just like that, Summer is going to take it. Semifinal winners. They're going to be moving on to the grand finals once again. That's got to be Kane, joined in by Aaron and of course Joneskies. We're going to be moving it back to the desk, and we will be with you guys in just a moment for our grand finals, Minutemen 920. Thank you.
What is up, everybody? We had a whole bunch of amazing games that occurred right there. If you guys didn't notice, we had Joneski's here stepping for Aaron. Apparently, we're having all kinds of disconnects that are happening with what's going on with the servers right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's all kinds of fun stuff to discuss inside that match. I mean, best of three went all the way to 3. The beginning of the game started off with just Summer full-on aggression. I mean, whenever they were attacking, hardcore aggression. Whenever they were defending, hardcore aggression. And it seemed that seemed to be the whole theme of this round was whenever they played on Hollywood, they were still aggressive when times they shouldn't have been. And that's how they ended up getting pushed back and let Team Holla actually get that round.
That, in the most basic terms, really was what it was, I believe, in that Kings Row game, in the very final defense of the Dorado game. They really just struggled to play aggressive and like make those calls where they really needed to push and play as the aggressors. Because right now in this meta, that the aggressors really just have such a confidence. They just have that advantage just because that Zenyatta with the Discord orb.
Yeah, I found it extremely interesting that it got so in the second round with Hollywood that with the amount of just focus that they were pushing through with Team Summer, that they managed to get so close to the end of the round, like they got maybe it was like 9 meters away and had 2 remaining, and somehow Holla managed to just get everything together, get their defensive, and they started doing the focus firing back, and it was just 2 teams standing point by point, Reinhardt shields going at it, firing back and forth, and I know you were talking about the fact that Reinhardt was a big factor inside of these matches.
Oh, indeed. I mean, really, a lot of this game was just who was winning these shield battles before they pushed in. There wasn't a lot of aggression until about Route 66 from the side of Summer even. They'll just wait to take down that Reinhardt shield. And even with the D.Va on, say, the side of defense on Kings Row, they should have been able to win those battles, but they just weren't playing it correctly to the strengths of D.Va. And what they would do, they would just take down those shields, and it would just make it extremely easy for Genji to get multiple dashes off and get multiple enemies low and just get those kills.
Oh, well, we did have one real strong D.Va ult. Just one is the only one I really saw was at the Kings Row. The last point at Kings Row, whenever Holla was defending, and that I don't remember who was it that threw it. Was it Too Cool for You? I want to say is the one that threw it through and managed to get the triple kill to finally stop that super aggressive push that Summer had. Because remember, that didn't even stop him until that D.Va ult went off. And I know we had D.Va 2 or 3 more times up here inside that, and I never saw the same impact as just that one ultimate.
Yeah, it's a really tough time to get those ults. I think it takes a lot of mechanical skill to be able to do something like that. And you're just not able to get it often. Oftentimes it feels like a gamble on the side of the D.Va player.
Yeah, I mean, I'm imagining it's also some of the timings that they've had that since the ult timing got reduced by 1 second. some players might still be adjusting to that. So I could see that some ults might end up going like falling a little bit short and not killing the people they were expecting, just because they've had a couple of months now of practicing, and those have been in beta for several months, practicing with that timing to get those kills off. So that would be I could see that being a determining factor, but I don't know. Like sometimes it just seems like I remember there was one point on Hollywood whenever we had a diva ult that was just thrown whenever the whole team, and it just struck me as a peculiar use of the ult, especially such a powerful ult in the streets phase right there.
Mm-hmm.
So
usually, I find diva ults are usually the best as a mid-fight kind of clear. Just because when you try to engage with it, usually at that point you have a Reinhardt and his shield is up, and it's as long as the Reinhardt shield is up, the entire team can stay alive relatively easily, just by staying behind that shield or just being able to get into cover if they're not even close. I mean, you may get 1 kill, maybe 2 kills. I think you're gonna not find a lot of times where divas at this point are going to be getting a lot of kills. It's going to be, unless they have a Zarya with them, it's mostly just going to be getting those 1 or 2 picks.
I think we're at the stage now where everybody's been playing so long. The moment you hear the wind up for her ultimate and the voice line go out, everybody immediately looks for cover, throws down. You gotta have some type of distraction going in, whether it be, which I thought was peculiar since they had Genji's galore inside these games. Genji could blow his ultimate, dive in, or just even dive in and then just do deflect and then just drop the diva right on top of him. Like, I can't think of anything better that's a better distraction than a Genji running around inside of your team to make you go, oh, which do I avoid?
Mm-hmm.
But
well, speaking of Genji, I just want to mention like how big of a factor he was in these games. As you saw in the very last map of Dorado, if he has his ult and he's not getting focused, he can kill your entire team if there's no Zenyatta ult. Any just like red buttons that they can push just to like save some lives. And you saw that a lot. He was really good at getting in and getting opponents low and then finishing off those lowered opponents. If their McCree or the Roadhog on the side of Summer 16 was able to get them half health or quarter health and not be able to finish.
The whole of Team Summer seemed to just be this damage engine that was built around Aurum, CameronOP, and Dmaster, with one of them trying to do. There were several times where we had 2 of them that were doing flanks, not allowing the defensive team to figure out where to go. I mean, when you have a Genji and a McCree that are flanking you, and then you have a Roadhog that's coming trying to hook you right in your face, right standing behind a Reinhardt shield, that's a ridiculous. You could just tell that it caused some level of, I want to say, unadaptability inside of the other team for a little while. But it was just so many aggressive postures that were coming at them that I just don't think that Team Holla had it. It took him a little while to react and figure out how to just settle down and go, okay, we're playing behind our Reinhardt shield. Mm-hmm. We're going to settle into this. We're going to start using cover more effectively, which we saw for a good section of the Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that the positioning of these Reinhardts was huge in that fact. Like, you just couldn't survive if the shield was down on either side. And so I think they both played a huge role in this game, and I think both of them did very well.
I mean, both teams were phenomenally good inside this. One of the points that I would like to mention that was really hard to catch sometimes was DTS's Zenyatta ultimate were just so on point so many times. Like, every time a Genji would come in from Holla, you'd instantly just see the Zenyatta ult go up, and it's just like, nope, not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I want to say there was probably 3 ults that we saw from Genji that came from Holla that were just immediately nullified by Zenyatta. Their team just went in, then Summer would just do that aggressive push in while Genji's back behind him and trying to catch back up because now they're running into the team. And so they almost ended up letting Genji flank themselves, but didn't even care about it. They were just like, nah, we're fine. We'll just live through it.
Yeah, entirely. And you really didn't see that come out from the other side. I mean, you saw Dmaster just come in and there was no response so many times. And even when you saw that Zenyatta had his ult up multiple times, they just I don't know if they figured they'd kill him fast enough. And then at that point he got 2 picks, even 1 pick I mean, like, as you saw, he got 4 kills solo just because they didn't even care. They didn't try to blow anything. And I think that their slow reaction was their downfall most of these games. Like, they hesitated a lot on pushing, especially on Route 66. You saw on Earls, they didn't push until the very final point. Like, it almost completed the very first point, but at that point they got 2 picks from Aurum, the Roadhog, and it was over.
I mean, I think that's what it comes down to, is there were just so many damage sources that while Holla was playing as defensively as they could, when you have 3 major sources of damage that are just looking to eat you to pieces, you just sometimes don't know where to look. And it always seemed like perhaps maybe just Summer was just doing a touch better in communication. That you would hear like Genji was like, well, right as soon as one person got distracted on the team, all of a sudden somebody would come from the other side, and then Holla was trying to react to one threat and trying to interact to another threat, and then just kind of ended up collapsing on both sides while you had the whole rest of the team just marching down the middle. It was, I can't tell if it's a communication style issue. It's really hard to say in this style of event, but curious, are we looking like we are placed and getting ready to go? It's like we're getting all the teams together, so we just have just a few moments before we're going to be kicking it back over to the matches. Looks like we have Team Valor versus Team Summer 16. Wait, Team Valor, are we making Pokemon references here? Somebody's got to get to the bottom of that. We got to know. I mean, that's going to like start a major Twitch battle we don't need to get inside of.
I do not need that right now. That's for sure.
All right, so now then, we've got a good look at Summer 16 and how we're going to be playing. So what do you expect that we're going to be seeing?
I think we're going to see a very similar best of 3. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Dorado coming out instead of any of these other points, just because they seem so dominant on Dorado. I just think we're going to see a lot of the same from Summer. It's been working for them really well. But in fact, the maps, here we go, are Dorado first. Then we're going to a King's Row for the second map. And the tiebreaker is going to be, again, Route 66.
It's like you're psychic or something. You knew. You knew. I mean, the Summer's been so good on that map. So naturally you want to. Whenever you do a full hold, you just got to go, this is our map. We want to do it again.
Now, I definitely want to see the McCree coming out from Cameron here. I believe his soldier is pretty good, but I think McCree is just in this meta so much better. Especially a Fair if they come out. But one thing before, we actually will be transferring over to the casters, Aaron LOL, and that's got to be Kane. I'm Joneskis, and this is Matt Room.
Prepare to attack.
Alrighty, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the first round of the grand finals. It's going to be Team Valor on the red team. It's going to be going up against Team Summer 16 of the blue team. And we want to go ahead and thank everybody for coming out, of course, to this week's Minutemen 9 tourney over here, sponsored by, of course, brought to you rather by the Overwatch, competitive Overwatch Discord.
Thank you very much, Kane. We're back on Dorado, though. I'm actually excited about that personally. We saw the much more traditional maps in the past few matches. We started our day off on Twitch TV with a lot of Dorado here and a lot of market phase. Nobody got past the market phase in any of the stream matches here on the Minutemen number 9 today. So I'm expecting a change in that just due to the caliber of these teams and how far they are.
Definitely, and looks like right now, I want to go ahead and throw a shout out. We are in fact an Overwatch Discord. We are in fact sponsored by Discord. We are actually partnered rather with the Discord app themselves. So huge shouts out to those guys for making all of this possible. Again, all the support. This is all thanks to you guys for everyone taking part. And again, we are just doing everything that we can, doing the best that we can to provide with you the best quality and coverage for the best competitive Overwatch gameplay. And here we are starting with the competitive Overwatch Minutemen 9 Grand Finals with Team Valor on the red team against Team Summer 16 on the blue team.
So Summer 16 posted up in a very normal spot, obviously. Very normal team comp here too. The only DPS changes we have is a soldier for the attacking team as compared to a Genji for the defensive team. And that's just really, Dmaster. That's his poison. That's what he likes to play. That's what he gets results out of. So we do see Team Summer backing up into the main choke here. We saw a lot of action in this choke today, Kane, so I'm hoping we see something unfold here pretty quickly.
Yep, and so far looks like Team Summer already doing pretty good as CameronOP on the McCree takes out Tewbookoo and the Zarya, which immediately is going to force Nolan and the rest of Team Valor to back off. And yep, like you said, so far, the choke point is holding true to tonight's standard. The choke point here on Dorado. That marketplace.
Yeah, that underpass, man. Just getting into the market phase can be tough if you don't have a really good organized push. I also noticed they didn't really push in with speed boost. Team Valor didn't, you know, do a Lucio amp it up combo to get in there. So I'm really expecting them to either change their attack path, or no matter what attack path they choose, they need to do it with a speed boost. They're really not going to see any success unless they do that. They're getting pushed back really far here, so they really just need to jump all at once.
Definitely, and I'm trying to think either they need to do that with an Earth Shatter, or perhaps they're going to wait until the Zarya ultimate, though I would think they would try to want to hold that for the marketplace, given how there's just a lot of places in which people could, of course, you know, hide behind and whatnot. So we're going to have to see some sort of a push. We're going to have to see it fast. We're coming up now, 4 ultimates moving up, even though Tewbookoo has yet to get back to the team.
So a really important kill, the McCree on McCree action. The defensive McCree for Summer 16 is down. He's got a long way to walk. Team Valor is just not postured to attack right now, though, so by the time they attack, it's going to be 6v6 again. This Genji, again, Dmaster, is just all over the place. He's always pressuring somebody, always picking up kills. We finally have a team fight started. Again, like you called it, the Earth Shatter going down. We have the second Earth Shatter going down for the defensive team. Team Summer spends their Earth Shatter, and the Torbnasuk comes out for Team Red and is going to clean up this attack here. They're going to successfully at least push into this market phase and maybe even get this first payload capture based on that Earth Shatter and Torbnasuk team fight there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was, you know, I'm kind of happy. I called it right. It was going to be the Earth Shatter going into the point, and they were likely going to save the Torbnasuk from coming in once they got to the marketplace, once they had a little bit more room of movement so that they weren't threatened by Holla's shield. They'd, of course, don't want any kind of Reinhardt shield to stop any kind of damage that might have come out from quite the
and this defensive sound barrier is really saying a lot. If you look at the frags, it is 3 frags for Team Summer right now, so they're definitely successfully pushing back Team Valor right now. The defensive sound barrier was popped so everybody got a piece of it, but it was popped really far back. The reason I bring that up, it kind of gives the attacking team a chance to react, say, oh, they popped sound barrier, we should back up. But Team Summer 16 just got in there really quick with their sound barrier, so although they spent a lot of ultimates, they have held off the first checkpoint so far in the market phase.
Definitely, and given how Dmaster is almost racking up that ultimate along with CameronOP, we've seen the kind of damage Dmaster has been able to do both in this game and in previous ones. If he's able to get a good flank, just popping his ultimate alone, I think, will scare the rest of Team Valor into focusing on them. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of disruption and what kind of frags they can pull off moving in just now.
So there was an attempt at an engagement here. We have a full engagement with a Dragon Blade and a Whole Hog coming down at the same time. It's going to be an easy cleanup for Summer 16 here. If you notice, there was a Transcendence on the attacking team side, but the key thing to note was there were not any DPS's class. There were no DPS classes around during that Transcendence. So it was that weird thing where Zenyatta and like insert any unimportant character like a tank was just dancing around. And it was kind of just to take territory, but when you take territory and you don't do damage, you can't push anybody out. So
exactly, you don't really get a lot of capitalization.
Call. It's all about that damn arch, yo.
All about the arch. Arch 2016. You know, make Dorado great again. We're seeing a lot of plays coming in so far. Once again, the entire night, ladies and gentlemen, with Dorado having been played at least now 4 times. Not a single team has made it to that second checkpoint. The Arch and the Marketplace has been as far as we've gone. And if this continues, this may just be all we're gonna see of Dorado. So
that would be hilarious if we saw another failed market push. Like if the blue team could not push, like if they actually could not get past Team Valor, like. For some reason, there's just a curse on tonight that nobody can cross the market phase. That payload almost always ends up at the same place, too. It's not past the statue in the middle, but it's really right near the middle.
it's pretty much lining up next to it, kind of leaning on its shoulder, whispering it dirty nothings as, teams are just failing to get past this. Doesn't matter if you're attack or defense, every team. So it'll be really interesting to see if Team Summer themselves fall victim, I guess you could say, to their own curse, as it were, as we start moving on to the second round of the second round of the first round of the grand finals. It's going to be, of course, on the blue team Summer 16 against Team Valor, as the sides are switched, with Team Summer 16 moving on the offense.
All right, so we are spawned. Everybody is out of their gates and ready to fight here on Dorado. Thank you guys for tuning in to the number 9 Minutemen tournament here, hosted by the Cal League. My name is Aaron LOL. I'm with That's Gotta Be Kane casting here tonight. We see a very typical hold on the roof for now. Team Valor looking to reposition themselves nice and early. It looks like they don't want to lose any frags. They saw that Roadhog and they don't want to get somebody hooked early. So it looks like their attack is very structured at the moment.
And it looks like they're playing both, of course, passive to try to let them get to that arch where they have a better way, but now they have to force the attack now if they're going to get anything. And right now, it's starting to look like Team Valor is a little split up.
Yeah, so that flanking Reaper, the Reaper on top of the little bridge overpass there, he really just spelled success for Team Valor here. Just being in that little choke point, he was raining damage while his team was actually fighting. And then once he got a kill, he just dropped from that underpass and really finished everything up. So good hold from Team Valor here so far. That Reaper really helped with that play there.
There you have it once again, Team Valor trying to hold the point as Team Summer starts to move in. That shield management, however, could be a little better as it already gets close to getting broken, which is going to force them either to make the detour underneath the balcony into the lounge, or otherwise they're going to have to start pushing in now. But I don't think they want to push too prematurely, otherwise they're going to fall victim to the same tactics that not only Team Valor fell to, but a lot of the other previous teams.
We have an engagement here. Team Summer decides to spend their Earth Shatter to try to get in here. Dmaster picks up some kills, and it's a support kill too. This is probably their chance to win the game right here. Whole Hog is pushing everything away right now as well. Doc's being left completely by himself. This should be the game right here, Kane. My goodness.
It should. My goodness. It looks like it's going to be everything that you might have thought. It is a marketplace victory as Tewbookoo doesn't even make it to the point, actually, as he's hooked by Aurum's Hog and gets taken down. And that right there is going to commence the very first round, with Team Summer 16 decisively once again taking it, as Dorado remains untouched beyond the market point.
Yeah, seriously, it's like the impeccable, unstoppable market phase. Nobody can get past the market. Very, very, very similar looking games on Dorado here today, no matter who the team comps were, no matter who the team players were. Really, really interesting stuff. Just like in any competition, when random or kind of lined up things like that happen, like when you have 3 of the same soccer goals in a soccer game. Really interesting, but we're going to be getting away from Dorado now, and we will be moving on with Team Summer games up 1-0 in the grand finals. This is a best of 3, not first to 3. So Team Valor is currently holding on for their tournament lives here, and I believe our next map is going to be King's Row, where everybody should have a much, much better chance. Everybody plays a lot of King's Row if you play competitive Overwatch.
Yeah, but it's like you said, I'm not much of a Counter-Strike player, but I know enough of Dust 2 to know that King's Row is the Dust 2 of Overwatch. And, no matter what you're playing, no matter how you want to try to get into it, King's Row is a map that a lot of people familiarize themselves with, just due to the fact that it is one of the most cohesive maps in terms of positioning and just pushing. It gives you a lot and teaches you and forces you to adapt to a lot of the fundamentals that's involved with simple pushes. You're moving in, you're pivoting, you're getting a lot of positional awareness, you're getting a lot of push and choke point holds. It pretty much offers all the scenarios that you would have both in, say, Dorado maps and the Hollywood maps. It pretty much offers a little bit of everything all wrapped into one, including a pushing the payload type map. So King's Row, one of the more familiar maps.
The Dust 2 thing. That's a really good analogy. This definitely is the Dust 2 of Overwatch right now. Whether you're just a pubber competitor, you definitely know this map, and it's probably one of your best maps as well.
I'll go ahead and just making a quick note. Team Valor is now the blue team, and Summer 16 is now the red team. The colors have, in fact, switched.
So that means we are actually going to see the team that is up 1-0 right now on attack first. So this should give us a better pace in the game. If they're going to capture, it's probably going to be, I don't want to say decisively, but, so far it looks like they're outplaying Team Valor. So Team Summer looking pretty strong here with a very high chance of pushing this payload to the very end. Looks like all their classes have been chosen too. No troll classes. We're about 5 seconds away from spawning on King's Row now with a Genji and a McCree. Again, Dmaster not really moving from Genji tonight.
No, definitely not, but definitely also showing that he is, in fact, worthy of sitting on that Genji throne, as he's been not only very comfortable, but very disruptive, doing everything a Genji needs to do should they be successful. And Dmaster, for the most part, has been very spot on with his play, already going after Phemhma as he goes in. There you go,
that
right
McCree
there.
kill. I mean, that might as well win the team fight right there. We have a nice hook here from Aurum. He almost got the kill on Lucio, which really would have solidified this fight. Team Summer Game still looking very, very, very strong right now, though. The Reinhardt gets a pin onto the second support, so there is no support for Team Valor right now at all. Generally, when you lose both your supports, you're losing that point, Kane.
Definitely so, and as we already saw, not only did they lose their supports very early on, Dmaster, as we were saying, very comfortable and paying all kinds of dividends on that Genji, as he already took out Phemhma's McCree in the very beginning, and just soon follow after, of course, he lost all the supports. And already,
you see that Genji taunt?
Already he's gonna go ahead and pop that ultimate. And there you go, he takes out Phemhma, he's gonna take out Dox, he's gonna go after the Reinhardt to take out the beef of this team, and already Dmaster showing that he wants it. And of course he does get taken out by Nolan, but not after already taken out too. Again, dividends have been
totally
paid.
Worth it. Dividends paid by Genji, no problem. And I mean, you're mentioning the kills, obviously. It's hype to see him get kills by himself. But that's not even mentioning his team's been on the cart the whole time. It was literally Dmaster by himself. Not Dmaster and Roadhog, not Dmaster and Aurum, literally Dmaster by himself.
By himself, taking out the meat and damage of the team. And as they start encroaching on the second checkpoint, they're going to go ahead and force the push.
This Earth Shatter from Team Summer Games hit 4 people out of the 5 people standing there. This really couldn't be going any better for Summer Games right now. The last phase of this map is the hardest to capture, like many maps. And they have verticality in their Genji, so Team Summer Games has the composition to get through this. I'm looking for a Bastion or something desperate because Team Valor really needs something good to hold this.
Definitely going to need a lot of suppressive fire. They're going to need definitely keep them choked into these vertical halls as they start to move in. As they start to get on these corners, it starts to open up a lot of opportunities for the offensive power, as the payload actually benefits the offensive force more so than the defensive, as it starts to provide more cover.
Another Dmaster ult comes down, the sword comes down, a Deadeye comes out from Team Valor, but it does absolutely nothing at all. The best thing Team Valor has done right now is counter with the Transcendence to counter the Genji, but look at this. 4 kills being picked up, almost going on 5 as Dox is now dead. And I mean, I already said
hanging by a thread, but even so, the deflection from Nolan's hammer is going to stop that from happening. And this, with 6 minutes on the clock, no contest. No contest at all, as Team Summer 16 decisively showing, as they have in previous games, no mercy at all. No mercy at all. No pun intended, as there wasn't a mercy actually being paid or being played, but definitely no mercy, as Summer 16 has shown just like that they are very comfortable on this map, that Dmaster is very comfortable on this map, and he's confident and able, and showing that he is able to go off by himself, go off these roofs and take out anyone, and he has been able to show he can take you out. Without a doubt, it just Dmaster alone, which means now with Team Valor on the ropes of losing the grand finals, they need to wake up, they need to show, they need to return that offense without any shadow of a doubt. They cannot hesitate, they cannot posture like Team Holla did. They need to show ruthless aggression, precision, and perfect execution in order to take this point and to beat this in a pretty swell time. They need to show that same decisive power that Summers just showed.
Kane, I'm all about that. I totally agree with you, man. They really need to, put in some aggression. A lot of players in these kind of games, when I was playing TF2, a lot of teams would say, go in there and die. If you die, it's better than like losing in footsies, you know, like go in there, have a team fight and die if you have to. Try, get in there, be aggressive. I want to talk about Dmaster for a second because we see all these Dragon Blades coming out from him and making, you know, these big plays, obviously. And some people may not be seeing the rest of it from the perspective you and I are seeing. But from everything from deflecting dead eyes and clutch locations to deflecting flashbangs at the right time, Dmaster really knows his Genji. He's not just getting Dragon Blade kills. He knows how to fight McCree one-on-one. He knows how to fight every character one-on-one. And he even knows how to fight 6 versus 1. So Dmaster...
He generally knows really well and how to expend and use each of his lives measurably, even if it isn't necessarily to get kills and just buy time.
There's great aggression, by the way, right off the start. Winston and D.Va as the tank combos making for very aggressive plays right now. The Winston does go down, and the D.Va are both down, so Team Valor is going to have to recollect. But, I mean, they did not hesitate. The Winston and the D.Va were on the point immediately, and they just kind of got intercepted and focused right away.
Definitely. Yeah, right now it's just a nice cleanup session coming in with Team Summer 16 as they clean up and force the rest of Team Valor to move back. And generally speaking, when certain people are allowed to stay alive and they're able to make it back without getting picked off, it allows for the team to immediately corral themselves together for a second push. But as you saw, with Zarya having gotten picked off, it forces them to wait those extra 5 seconds for them to get out, including the travel time, which is a lot of time wasted.
You know, since we're talking about Zarya here, I mean, Dmaster's doing his thing. We have another Dmaster Dragon Blade coming out, and we have a Deadeye coming out from Cameron as well. Yeah, my goodness, Kane. The Deadeye just cleans up the fight there. Realistically, what's his name? Dmaster pretty much did all of the alert, or all of the damage in that case, and then, you know, CameronOP just cleaning up with the Deadeye there. I want to bring up this triple tank composition. It should make them hard to kill. They should have pushing power, but they're not focusing very well. Team Valor needs to focus their targets because they have a team that's hard to kill, but they really need to make use of it right now. Winston is getting aggressive on the point. D.Va's being pushed away by Dmaster right now. And we have an offensive sound barrier coming down from Team Valor, but they're just getting pushed away by Whole Hog, so they can't even make an advancement onto the point. And that was just a bad Torbna steal. That's all there is to that.
Pretty much, and as we're starting to see now, it's a lot. Like you said, they have the tools, they just aren't using them correctly. And as you can see, CameronOP with the teabag of the Reaper, showing absolute. Yeah, there you go. Nolan calling it out. Absolute aggression. I'm guessing this just goes to show the confidence level right now of Summer 16. And I don't know, maybe they're just playing mind games. Are they really starting to get into the head of Team Valor right now, as they need to have that precision, they need to focus, and just like that, Coldrend is going to get taken down, and that's going to force a few more seconds as they need that kind of disruption in order to move on in. Not a single ultimate is up right now with Team Valor, whereas 3 moving on 4 are ready for Summer 16, which just gives them all the tools in the trade right now to completely clean them up. And just as we saw before, Dmaster is not going to give them enough chance to really kind of group up, though Dots does take him out, which does rule out 1 ultimate from this game.
Yeah, we finally saw a failed Dragon Blade there. That was actually the first time we saw Dragon Blade really just get focused, or the Genji not be able to run around. I really think Dmaster just got greedy there, kind of trying to want to pick up kills when he didn't need to, you know.
Yeah,
so Valor,
greed coming in.
Yeah, a little bit of greed there from the DPS classes. They're really feeling themselves. They need to pay attention. They need to stay focused. There's an offensive sound barrier from the blue team. Team Valor's sound barrier is wearing off, and CameronOP decides to spend the Deadeye for Team Summer. Doesn't actually get any kills, but he lays down a lot of damage. He's going to find a Roadhog kill here. He's probably going to help his Genji get this Winston kill as well. And surprisingly, Valor has a lot of health on the point right now. Lucio, 2 tanks, and a Reaper. They should have this point, but the red team, Team Summer, is coming through the streets phase. They are probably going to contest Kane.
There you go, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Dmaster making very well use of his life. He wasn't getting kills, but he was stalling the point, allowing for his team to move in just as DTS starts to move in with the tranquility to try to get in whatever he can. The Torbna suck is going to go down as Nolan is able to take off 2 kills, trying to make up for all of this team's mix-up right now, but it looks like Aurum's going to try to get in whatever knockback possible, but Dots with the return whole hog as he takes out the rest of Aurum in the team, and just like that, the overconfidence and the greed, per se, of Summer 16 is going to allow for Team Valor to move in to execute precisely. They're going to get this point, and just like that, they're going to start moving in. It looks like over just about 2.5 minutes remaining. There's still a shot for Team Valor to get in this. I don't know. Summer 16 might want to grab the reins, you know, of their high horse, as it were.
Yeah, pay attention.
Steady some of this attack.
Steady that defense there. So the big greed play here came from a Transcendence and a Sound Barrier at the same time. Totally unneeded. It seemed like it was uncoordinated. It seemed like a very panic-like play. Some people will argue, and they could say, obviously, Sound Barrier gives you more armor temporarily, and Transcendence only heals you, so you can still die during Transcendence. No excuses. Bad double support ult, period. You know, Team Summer gets a cleanup. Yeah, they get a cleanup in the Streets phase here, but they are still behind because of that. And if anything's going to lose this push for Team Summer, if they get pushed to the payload, it's because of that double ult that they just did.
Definitely, and as we're starting to look at right now, Summer 16 is moving in about 2. They're probably going to be able to get themselves Cameron's ult as well as the ultimate from SilverPuddin, as they might be able to come out with some defense, but they don't have it right now, which gives the advantage right now to Valor, as Cameron is the only one with an ultimate to try to pull off anything, but he gets absolutely nothing. Aurum forced to pop his ultimate just as he gets it, just to knock people back, just to try to get some kind of leverage and control back on the point. But DTS, of course, is going to take out Coldrend, and Dots is going to take out Dmaster, which is definitely going to be one of their key players going down.
Man, and this is just crazy. I cannot believe that Team Valor has actually not lost this fight yet. They've really stayed in it. They kind of got the classes separated when Roadhog was done using his Hold Hog on Team Summer, is really when they got their chance. They decided to spend not only their Sound Barrier, this is Team Summer we're talking about here, they spent their Sound Barrier and their Whole Hog, and they thought it was going to hold, but it did not hold. Once the Whole Hog was over, it was just over. Team Valor is looking very strong right now. They're going to get this next checkpoint for sure.
And you can't help but to almost slant a frown as you understand that this was definitely in due part due to the greed, the overconfident, no, the cockiness from Team Summer 16, as we see the teabagging, we see the overextension and the waste of ult from Dmaster back on the first point, and it's really starting to hopefully make them realize that they've allowed this to happen and that they've allowed this mess to get out of control, and they now have to rectify it.
So Summer 16 is going to get another successful fight here. They spent a decent amount doing it, though. They spent a Earth Shatter, which is generally a combo opener, so there's really nothing wrong with that. You kind of have to get an engagement somehow. They spend their Dragon Blade as well, and they have multiple ultimates ready, but they're still not in the best of positions. The ultimates are very balanced for both teams right now, and Team Valor still has a very high chance of winning this match. Earth Shatter goes down for Team Valor, and the only thing to counter the Earth Shatter right now is the Transcendence from DTS. DTS is doing what he can for his team, but healing only does so much. Both Sound Barriers go down, and we just have a heyday around the cart. It really looks like Team Valor should be able to come out of this. They have a decent amount of damage on the cart, but the 5 people surrounding the cart for Team Summer is going to successfully push us back again.
Yep, and this is what I was talking about, you know, around this point in time, it starts to come that Team Valor, or rather Team Summer 16 is starting to hopefully get a nice grasp and realize, hey guys, we just allowed them to get here. And I'm thinking now we're starting to see that focus return to Summer 16, and that's when we start to see simply the outplay and outmaneuvered power that Summer 16 has. We've generally seen them. They are, in fact, the better skirmishers. And like we saw there at a pretty dead even fight, it was just a matter of which team was better in terms of the fighting and skirmishing, and that's how they were able to win that last team fight.
All right, Torbjorn Suck goes down, Winston engages right away, but oh man, that was just poorly initiated. We even had some ult spent from Team Valor, but they just ended up getting completely wiped with it. Their Torbjorn Suck had really nothing to combo with it except for Winston jumping on the team. But once Cameron pressed that Deadeye button, it really sealed the fight for his team.
There you go, and there you have it. Dmaster's going to move in, trying to get off kills. He takes out the Zenyatta, which is going to produce him from getting absolutely nothing going done. And there you have it. Aurum's also going to pick up a kill, but Dox is able to pick up a double. And we're able to have the game get evened out right now.
Yeah, Dox is actually evening this up by himself almost. Now that his team is here on the card, Zarya, he has 2 tanks and a support with him. Dox actually just saved the day by himself.
As we move on to the last 15 seconds, Team Valor has to even this up. They're going to be moving on. It's their game now to lose, as Team 16 is going to regroup to try to push off as they move in now with about 2 ultimates. The same about to 2-2 now as they move in. Both supports on the team giving them enough power to get... No, he doesn't get it out right there as Holla takes out Lilyatta right now. And DTS is going to move in to try to hold it. And right now, the interception that comes in from Summer 16 is just about to allow them to move in as they start to sweep them up. Coldrend and Tewbookoo are the only ones alive. No ultimates on the point, and Lilyatta is not going to get it. Your grand champions of the Minutemen 9 tourney, Summer 16, they corralled and rallied that up real quick when it mattered.
Play of the match.
Kane, that was about as close as it could be in that final push. I mean, really what happened, that very, very final push there, Team Valor, by the time they were on the payload during overtime, they only had a Lucio, a Zarya, and a Winston fighting these people, and they just did not have the damage. Their Zenyatta died way too early, as you said. Lilyatta just died too early in that fight. And that really is...
If I could just say right quick, 52 eliminations from Dmaster.
Look at that! It was even more impressive than that. 2/3 of his team's killed. Dmaster did 2/3 of the frag. So we're going to go back over to the desk, guys. We are done here with the competitive Overwatch League Minutemen number 9 tournament. We've had a few issues tonight. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to be doing this every week. My name has been Aaron LOL, and I've been casting with That's Gotta Be Kane. Kane, give him a good night real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for coming on out. We apologize for all the technical difficulties. We all know life and technical difficulties happen, but we thank you for coming on out for the technical number 9 Minutemen tourney. We will be back again for, how do you say 10 in Spanish? D-Ace. So we will be back for D-Ace, number 10 of the Minutemen tourney. We thank you once again for coming on out. We're going to bring it back to the desk. You all have a great night and stay saucy.
Thanks, guys. To you, Des.
Stay saucy. Thank you, Kane. Thank you, Aaron. We appreciate it. Oh my gosh, such a good ending. Like so much good points. The only thing I can say is, dude, I think that Dorado no longer is a choke point, and it just has to be a strangle point. Oh, it's such a bad joke.
Oh, I gotta agree there. It was really rough watching that.
So, just to follow what Kane was saying, we have to say thanks to everybody that's been sticking with us through thick and thin tonight. We surely appreciate it. Naturally, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors before we go. Jonskis.
Yep, we have Random CS, the guys doing the adminning for us, making this event possible, as we're really just the production side here. So we really got to thank them, making sure everybody can get out, get on teams, really helpful. And also, we can't forget Master Overwatch, your best resource to find out where you stand compared to other players.
And just as a reminder before we close this up for the night, remember that tomorrow we have the Cow Open, which is going to be our amateur team event. So make sure you guys come back and watch that. We'll be bringing action normal times that we always do, which is 8 Eastern Time, 7 Central. And with that, I am Matcham, Joneskis, and good night to everybody.